Melissa Wolfenbarger?
September 9th, 1977.
Okay. And what about Tina Patton?
March 28th, 1970.
Okay. And how long were you married to Carl Patton?
56 years, 6 months, and 8 days.
Did you continue to be married to Carl Patton after you provided the testimony against him?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And is he still living? Is he still alive, Carl Patton?
No, he passed away
When did he pass away?
December 16th, 2024.
And what was his age?
He was 75.
And where was Carl Patton raised as a child?
Originally College Park and then Ellenwood.
Are you familiar with whether or not Carl Patton ever lived in Fulton County?
No. College Park was all I ever knew about. Is that Fulton County?
That's fine. Thank you.
Mr. Fossett, forgive me for interrupting, but as promised, I'm going to stop for just a moment and let my court reporter and any lawyers that need to get attached to the Zoom. Looks like the podium's not cooperating. That didn't need to be on the record. You can go ahead now.
And when you first met Carl Patton, where were you living at?
I was living in Jonesboro, Riverdale.
And what about when the two of you first got married? Where were you living?
Ellenwood.
And what part of the state did you raise your two children?
Partially Clayton County, and then we moved to Stockbridge, and then moved to Locust Grove.
Did you ever visit Atlanta, the area of Atlanta, when your daughters were growing up?
No, not really.
Now, you were testifying that Melissa, your daughter, had left a note for you. You recall that testimony?
Yes.
How often would she do that?
I think she left the note, I think it was only one time, but she left pictures multiple times.
Yeah. If you could just guesstimate, how many different occasions would you say she's done that?
I'd say about around 4 or 5.
Did you and Melissa ever talk on the telephone?
Yes.
How often did you do that?
More frequent than when she would come. She would always call on the holidays or special days.
And besides just holidays in particular, would you talk just random phone calls with your daughter, Melissa? Would that happen as well?
Yes.
So if we're looking at, say, any given month, how many times would you say if you could think back to that time, how many times during a given month would you say you talked to Melissa?
At least once.
Now, you were also testifying as to the defendant and Melissa living on the Brookline Street. You recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall if Melissa and the defendant lived anywhere else during that period?
Prior to living on Brookline, they lived in on Washington Street in East Point, and then Adrian Drive in Stockbridge, and then Brookline.
Okay. Then is it your testimony, to your recollection, Brookline would have been the last residence in that succession?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And these previous locations of Washington Street, did you ever visit your daughter and the defendant at either of those locations?
I visited one time on Washington Street.
And you were testifying to a court date in July, well, an incident that occurred in July of '98. Do you recall picking your daughter up from a location during that period?
When we went to court, the week before she went to court on that, me and her dad went and picked her up on Brookline Street, and then she come and stayed with us until she went to court.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. All this has been asked and answered.
I do recall this testimony, but I'm assuming that Mr. Fawcett is simply reorienting us, and I think that's fair for him to do briefly.
Thank you, Judge. When you arrived at that location, were her children present?
No,
okay.
They were not.
Was there anyone else present besides Melissa at the residence when you picked her up?
Not that I recall.
And then was that when your testimony is that yourself and Carl Patton took her to the courthouse? Is that your testimony?
I took her to the courthouse. Her dad didn't go with us. It was just me and Melissa.
And after that court date, when was the next time that you saw your daughter, Melissa?
The next time I saw her was when I went to see her when she was in the DeKalb County Jail for violation of probation.
And are you aware if she was ever released from custody during that period?
She was released from custody November 9th, and that's the last time I saw her.
Okay. How did you come to find out that she was released from custody on November 9th?
Myself and her father went to the court date. We were in court when she went in front of the judge.
Okay. Do you know if on that date your daughter was able to provide, Melissa was able to provide the court with any specific information about her health at that time?
She told them at that time, the judge, that she was pregnant.
Were you present in court at the time that she informed the judge of this?
Yes.
And was that the first time that you had heard Melissa discuss that?
Yes.
Okay. And after that statement in court that she was pregnant, do you see Melissa again after that?
No, I did not.
Now, at any point, have you participated in any interviews for, say, podcasts in particular, related to this homicide?
Yes, I have.
All right. As what is the most recent memory you have of a podcast that you might have participated in?
I don't understand what you're asking.
How recent have you done that?
It's been a couple years.
Okay. And if Melissa's remains were identified in 2003, just pointing you back to that time period, how soon after that do you recall speaking with media or going on a podcast in particular?
It was years. I don't think we did the podcast until, I don't remember the date. I think around 2021.
Okay. And what sparked or initiated you appearing on podcasts? What was the purpose of that?
I went in trying to bring Melissa's case to the forefront because nothing was being done. The original detective had retired from the case, and I was having trouble finding out any information about what was being done.
Okay. Now, did you go on, say, one interview or podcast, or did you do multiple during that period?
We did, I think, total of 3 podcasts.
Okay. And did you participate in any other interviews besides, say, podcasts in particular, with any other media outlets?
Last year, I think there was one. I don't remember what it was. I know I did one. I just don't remember the name of it.
Okay. And have you been contacted in this year, the year 2025, have you been contacted by anyone related to any media outlets for this particular case?
Yes.
What medium contacted you?
I think it's Law and Crime, I think, or something along that line.
Okay.
I don't really remember
All right. And have you signed anything at this point related to any appearance that you may or may not do in the future connected with this homicide?
I did sign one last month, but I've since decided I'm not going to do it.
And what was that you signed?
It was an agreement to do the program, and not talk to anybody else.
Okay, so the program that's being created, you agreed to do that?
Yes.
All right. And how recent was that?
I signed it last month.
Have you had any other contact related to appearing specifically to speak about this particular homicide?
No.
And is it still your testimony that you and your husband requested law enforcement's assistance to locate your daughter, Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
Is that still your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. McDermott?
You just answered some questions to Mr. Fawcett regarding places you'd lived while the children were growing up and things of that nature. Didn't you also live in DeKalb County for a while?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And was that before you moved? It was before you moved to Locust Grove, right?
Yes, that was before, in between Ellenwood and Stockbridge.
Okay. And the daughters lived with you at that time too, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay. There was some testimony on Friday regarding comparisons between Tina and Melissa.
Right.
I think you say Tina, is that correct?
It's Tina. Yes.
That Tina was more of a daddy's girl,
Yes.
robust and rebellious,
Yes.
hard-headed maybe,
Yes.
and Melissa was more of your baby.
Yeah.
She was soft, shy,
Yes.
quiet. So they were very much opposites as far as sisters,
much.
girls go. You've been speaking about Melissa's case for many years, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You've told your stories many, many times, haven't you?
Yes.
You've done police interviews, correct?
Yes.
And as you've just discussed, podcasts.
Yes.
You've spoken at true crime conferences. Is that correct?
Crime and con.
And you've done media interviews.
A few.
You've been asked many, many times, when did you first feel that something was wrong with Melissa? Haven't you?
When she didn't call or come to see me on Christmas Day, 1998.
And you knew in your gut something was wrong at that moment.
Yes.
And Melissa didn't have a phone.
No, sir.
She didn't have a landline.
No,
She didn't
sir.
have any way to contact her.
Right.
So when you got worried enough, all you could do was drive up and check on her.
Right.
So you did go drive up and check on her.
We did, but not until after my birthday.
And Carl went with you, right?
Yes.
And you just testified that Carl had grown up in College Park.
Right.
And that's kind of down near the airport, right?
Right.
And also in East Point. Is that right?
I'm not sure about East Point.
Didn't his grandfather have a house on Main Street in College Park?
I do not know.
But he knew the area in general, didn't he?
I would assume so.
When Melissa didn't call you on your birthday, as you said, you and Carl drove up to Brookline Street to their house, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
And you and Carl went together. You found their house empty. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you talked to the neighbors.
Carl talked to the neighbor.
Carl talked to the neighbors. And when I say you in that context, I mean you and Carl collectively. And Carl apparently learned from those people at the same time that Chris had moved out around Christmas.
Yes, sir.
And that he had worked at Action Glass around the corner
Yes, sir.
on Avon Avenue.
Yes.
Do you remember talking to Detective Shepard in 2021
Yes, sir.
as part of getting the investigation of this case re-going again?
Yes.
And do you remember telling Detective Shepard at that time that it wasn't until late 1999 or early 2000 until you went up there?
I really don't remember.
If I were to show you a transcript of that interview, would it refresh your memory?
Possibly.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I apologize for the fine print. I hope your glasses can read that. But you can start here and you can read the highlighted portion.
That's just like he says that Carl.
I'm sorry.
No.
Read to yourself. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Read to
I'm
yourself
sorry.
and see if that refreshes your memory. Refresh your memory of talking with Detective Shepard.
Yes, sir.
And you told Shepard at that time that you didn't know where Christopher worked until 1999 or early 2000, correct?
Correct.
And every time you went up there looking, you got told Chris worked somewhere else.
Right.
But you testified on Friday and here this morning specifically that you guys actually went up there in February of 1999, correct?
Correct.
And that was 2 months before Melissa's remains were found, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember appearing or speaking or giving an interview for Cheryl McCollum's podcasts?
Yes.
And do you remember on one of those podcasts, you said that you'd never even, when you heard the news story of a human head discovered on Avon Avenue, you'd never even heard of Avon Avenue and didn't know where Christopher worked.
I did not know the name of the road that Action Glass was on. I only knew Action Glass. I did not associate Avon Avenue with that because, to my recollection, as I traveled around 285, there was an Avon Avenue off 285. So that's where I thought Avon Avenue was.
I see.
I did not make the connection to Avon Avenue and Action Glass until 2003 when Calhoun took me to the location.
Okay.
That's when I connected the two places.
And you're testifying that you believe there's an Avon Avenue exit on 285.
There used to be I don't know that it was Avon exit, but there was, Avon was listed at an exit.
Okay. Do you remember doing a podcast with Ms. McCollum and Karen Greer called CSI Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember that in yet another version of this story, you said that it was after Christmas that you and Carl went up there and found the house empty?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Do you deny saying that?
No, I don't. I don't deny it. I just don't recall it.
Okay. Do you recall being interviewed by Detective Calhoun in 2003, which I understand is a long time ago?
Yes.
I can't remember where I parked sometime on the same day. So you told him that when you got worried after your birthday, you went to Christopher's mother's house.
I did not go. When I went to Kathy's house, I caught her coming out. I don't remember the exact date or even what month it was, but I was riding by her house, saw her getting out of the car, and I pulled in there and asked her where Melissa was.
Okay. And that was after she had been identified or before? Obviously it was before.
This was back in 1999.
Okay.
When she was missing.
In all your interviews, however, you've been very consistent and made it very clear that on one thing, and that is that you despised Christopher from the very first time you saw him. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
You said that you didn't like the way his eyes looked.
Right.
You've said in podcasts that you just saw meanness in his eyes.
As my mother would say, that's...
The very first time you met him, and he would have been about, what, 15 years old?
Somewhere around there.
Maybe even a little bit younger?
Older, maybe.
Maybe a little older?
Because I believe he was driving at that point.
When he first started dating Melissa, you had him arrested at your house many times, didn't you?
I did.
Reported him as trespassing.
Yes.
How many times would you say? 8? 10?
I don't know.
You did everything.
Make a guess.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't make a guess.
Okay. You did everything you could to prevent them from dating, though, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You moved her. You moved her to a separate location for a while, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You isolated her. You tried to prevent her from leaving your house. Correct?
Correct.
You tried to make her take birth control.
I did make her take birth control. I thought I was making her take.
As you testified on Friday, she was pretending to take it and not taking it.
Right.
You remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that the reason the birth control didn't work was because you brought her back out of hiding too soon before it had time to take effect.
Yes.
Okay. But you testified on Friday that what actually was going on, as we just discussed, was that she was pretending to take it but not really taking it.
Right.
And doesn't that indicate that she was okay with getting pregnant?
Yes.
As you see it, Christopher took her away from you, right?
Right.
And you've never forgiven him for that, have you?
No.
And you worked even while they were married to get her away from him, didn't you?
No. How did I do that?
Your daughter Tina also joined you in trying to get her away from Chris while they were married.
I don't know how to answer that. I didn't do anything.
Well, if you say, I don't know. If you don't know, you don't know, right? That's fine. When was the first time you remember Melissa running away from home? Now, I'm not asking you why she ran away. I'm just remembering, when was the first time you remember her running away from home?
When she met Chris.
And you always reported her as a runaway, correct?
I did.
And Carl always spanked her when she came home from running away, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Do you recall an episode where Melissa found a dead baby in a clothes hamper in your house?
Yes.
Wasn't your daughter Tina prosecuted for that?
Yes, she was.
I'm going to object. Grounds of relevance.
So that second question, I'm going to sustain your objection, but the first question is overruled. Go ahead, Mr. McDermott.
Wasn't it Melissa that found that baby?
Yes.
And was that around 1992?
1991.
91. And Melissa would have been 14 years old at that time, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, as you discussed, I think earlier in your testimony, you're aware that Melissa turned over temporary custody of her children to Christopher's parents in 1996.
Yes.
Mr. Fawcett, and you presented us with a letter on Friday that Melissa, you say, wrote to you before that.
Yes.
And have you read this letter?
Yes.
And in this letter, she states that that she's pregnant with Joey at the time, right?
Yes.
And she was anticipating that you might be upset about that. Is that fair to say?
I didn't think so.
You didn't think she was anticipating that? I'm assuming I have to ask her.
No, you do not. Thank you.
Can you read this line here just to yourself? And this line, if you would, please. Was Melissa anticipating you being angry with her for being pregnant again?
Yes, she was.
And is it your understanding from this letter that Melissa was expecting to have her tubes tied after this?
I don't know. I don't recall seeing that in that letter.
Okay, let's try it. Sorry. I'm sorry, read the underlined portions here. I'm sorry for the difficulty.
It's in there, but that's not something we discussed.
So did Melissa write to you saying that this was her last child and she expected to have her tubes tied afterwards?
Yes.
Okay. So when Melissa told a judge in October, November, I guess it was November of 1998, that she was pregnant, did you
Yes.
believe she was pregnant at the time?
I did not know.
Did she look pregnant at the time?
I don't think so.
Okay. And Would telling a judge that you're pregnant be something someone in her position might have done to try to get leniency from the judge?
Speculation.
Don't answer that, and sustained.
Okay. After you went up to Brookline Street and got her in July of '98, you took her to courthouse to help regain custody of her children. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. The date of the Brookline incident was July 21st,
yes,
and then you took her to the Fulton County Court on the next day, which was the 22nd. Is that correct?
no, sir. It didn't go. We didn't have to go to Fulton County to do that.
No.
Because-
I'm sorry. I did confuse, and I want to be clear. So step back from the probate court question for a moment. But after the incident on Brookline Street, didn't you take her to the Fulton County Court to file a report, to file for a TPO?
No, sir.
Okay. So how did Melissa did she spend a few days with you after that? You picked her up on Brookline Street?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And how did she get down to your place?
We picked her up on July the 21st.
So she rode to your place with you.
Yes.
Did she have a car?
No.
Not at that time. So when she went to the probate court in Henry County to deal with the matter of the children, you took her there?
Yes.
Okay. And so you were with her. You were right alongside her when she filed that application. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you remember speaking with Detective Shepard about this issue?
No, I don't.
Do you remember showing him the documents that you had filed in order to get the children back?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember telling him at that point that your understanding of how it worked with temporary guardianship was all you had to say was, I want my kids back?
Right.
Okay. And then the court would give them back to you
Right.
from the temporary guardian. Was that also, do you know at the time, was that also Melissa's understanding?
Yes.
Okay. So did she file the I want my kids back papers?
Yes.
And she was with you?
Yes.
And did you go get physical custody of the children?
Yes.
Did you have the children physically, not with you at that time, but with you in your house at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And she was away from Chris, right?
Yes.
Okay. But she had a court date at the end of that week, right?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And you've already discussed about how you went to that court date and Christopher asked if he could speak to her alone, I think were
Yes.
your words?
Yes.
And the judge allowed that.
Yes.
And when you say that he spoke to her alone, did they go into a private room somewhere?
Yes, they did.
They did. The judge allowed them to go to just those two into a private room.
Yes.
Okay. And when they came out, she had all that in her favor already. Her kids back, her legal papers back, with you, and the kids with you.
Yes.
And she chose Chris.
Yes.
And that was on July 29th, 1998.
Yes.
And after that, sometime after that, didn't she and Chris turn over permanent custody
Yes.
to Christopher's parents?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what date that was?
July 29th.
The exact same day.
Yes.
So they drove from Fulton County Court straight to Henry County Court
Yes.
and made that permanent.
Yes.
Okay. You stated that when you saw Melissa in the summer of 1998, she was wearing long sleeves and blue jeans.
Yes.
And it was in the middle of July.
Yes.
And you stated you didn't observe any bruises at that time because she had long sleeves and blue jeans on.
Right.
In fact, when you talked to Detective Calhoun originally in 2003, you never even mentioned anything about scrapes or bruises at all, did you?
I don't believe I did.
You never mentioned anything about her being drug on the sidewalk, did you?
I don't recall.
Fair enough. And you've testified here that Melissa was in fact rearrested in October of 1998. Is that correct?
It was before October '98. She was in DeKalb County Jail in September of 1998 on her birthday.
In September?
Yes.
Okay.
And she did not go to court until November.
Okay. Do you remember why she had been arrested?
Violation of probation.
And do you remember how she had violated her probation?
To my understanding, she left Chris again after July, that she left him again in August.
If I told you it was because of her not taking GED classes and not performing community service according to the terms of her probation, would that sound correct to you?
I do not know.
Okay. And so according to you, she spent from her birthday, sometime around her birthday, until early November in jail.
Yes,
So you're saying she was in jail for 60 days, or roughly 60 days, 2 months?
roughly, yeah.
Okay. And when she was let out of jail, was her sentence done at that point, or did they leave her terms of probation in place?
They reinstated her probation.
Okay. And one of the terms of that probation would be that she has to check in regularly with the probation officer. Is that right?
I would assume so, yes.
And are you aware that Melissa quit contacting her parole officer after December 10th of 1998?
I do not know.
Are you aware that she never reported in person to the probation officer after the days she was let out of jail?
I'm unaware. I do not know.
Now, you've mentioned that your husband, Carl Patton, eventually confessed to murdering 5 people. Is that correct?
Yes.
And for one of his victims,
Can I get a drink of water?
can we get some? Oh,
Yes. Thank you.
you trust me, don't
Could you open it for me?
you? Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hilton. Thank you, Mr. Wolfenbarger. Mr. McDermott.
Thank you. You're welcome. For one of Carl's victims, did he try to approach?
Sure. Go ahead, Mr. McDermott.
So I'm going to back up a little bit. Just generally speaking, were you involved with some of Mr. Patton's murders?
I helped him dispose of the bodies.
Okay. So you were involved?
Yes.
Okay. And did you, for some of the murders, you were not involved, is that correct?
That's correct.
But you overheard Carl making plans for them.
Yes.
And you testified about this under oath in Fayette County in 2023, is that correct?
20.
I'm sorry, I made the mistake so many people have so far. In 2003.
Correct.
Yeah, got it. So, and you testified at some length about the details that you knew of his murders.
I answered all the questions that they asked, yes.
Okay. How long would you, actually, let's do that. Just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Yes.
Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes,
And you could say who that is?
that is me.
Well, you don't have to say it yet. I'm just asking.
No.
And can
Yes.
you say, do you know, you will be able to say what the occasion was for that?
Yes.
And who was it in that photograph?
It was me
And when was that?
in Fayette County when I testified against Carl.
Your Honor, I request to move this into evidence.
Does it have an exhibit number?
Defense 6, please.
Defense 6, Mr. Fussett?
No objection.
Okay, defense 6 is admitted. Go ahead.
Published to the jury.
Sure.
How long would you say that you testified on that day?
I don't recall the length of time.
15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Probably 15.
Okay. So you were aware of several of the details of Carl Patton's murders.
Yes.
And for one of those murders, did he try to stage the crime scene to look like an accident?
Yes.
And did he have an accomplice who was his high school best friend?
Yes.
And did Carl at some point suspect that his accomplice was telling people about the murder?
Yes.
And at that point, did Carl decide to kill that person too?
Yes.
And did he also decide to kill that person's girlfriend?
Yes.
So it's true that Carl killed some of his victims just because he was afraid they were telling people
Yes.
that they knew too much.
Yes.
For some of his murders, was it true that Carl wrapped up the bodies in bags?
I do not know.
You testified, as I asked a while ago, that you overheard Carl making plans for one of the murders.
Yes.
Did those plans involve him killing people for money?
I would assume so, yes.
Insurance money?
Yes.
Was that the first time you had heard him talk about killing someone?
Yes.
And what did you think at that moment? Did you think, I should get out of this house?
No.
Did you think that was a red flag about your husband?
I loved my husband.
And you didn't go directly to the police when you overheard your husband discussing murdering somebody?
No, I did not.
You, in fact, helped Carl plan the killing of Joe and Liddy, didn't you?
Yes.
And after he killed them, where did he kill them at?
In our living room?
And were any of your daughters home when this happened?
No.
Sorry.
That wasn't open.
Nope, that was me clearing my throat. I apologize.
Didn't you testify in 2003 that Melissa was in her room?
I don't recall.
Was anyone else in the house at the time?
Yes.
Who was that?
His father?
Carl's father?
Yes.
And was he awake?
I don't know.
Didn't you previously testify that he was passed out drunk on the couch?
Probably.
Yeah. Was that a habit of his?
Yes.
Was he an alcoholic?
Yes.
Okay. And did you help Carl dispose of those bodies that you killed in your house?
Yes.
And just briefly, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but how did you do that?
I don't understand how to answer that question.
How were those bodies disposed of?
They were in sleeping bags, and we took them to where they were thrown into the water.
So you drove one of them to the Flint River, correct?
Yes.
And how far was that from your house at the time?
I don't know, probably 25 miles.
Okay. And you took the other one to the Ocmulgee River, is that correct?
Correct.
And how far was that from your house?
I don't recall. I don't know.
And if you had this much involvement with your husband, why weren't you prosecuted also?
I was given immunity for my testimony against him.
Okay. And you, in fact, asked for immunity, didn't you?
Well, yes.
Okay. So you ended up serving a year of probation, is that correct?
That's correct.
Carl was especially upset with Liddy, wasn't he?
Yes.
As he saw it was her loose tongue that caused him to have to kill his best friend.
Yes.
And did he cut the midsection out of her pants
I have no idea.
after he killed her?
I have no idea.
Okay. Were all of Carl's victims and your victims, were they either close friends or family members?
Family members.
Okay.
I don't, cause Pete was a close friend, Liddy not so much.
Okay. Who was Wendy Archer?
My best friend's daughter.
Okay. And did she come over to your house?
When
During the time Melissa lived with you?
they were younger growing up, yes.
Okay. Did they spend a lot of time together?
Yes.
And were they locked in a room together?
No.
Okay. Does the name Martin Eric Jackson mean anything to you?
Yes.
Who was Martin?
He was, his mother was common law wife to Fred.
And who was Fred?
Fred was Carl's uncle.
Okay. Was he one of Carl's victims also?
Yes.
Was Mr. Wyatt a drug dealer?
Yes.
Okay. Did Martin visit your house?
Eric? Yes.
Did you call him by his middle name?
I'm going to object again on relevance grounds. It simply doesn't have anything to do with the determination for the court.
I'll answer that, but we should probably approach.
Yep, why don't you do that? Mr. Fawcett? The objection's going to be overruled. Mr. McDermott, if you want to rephrase your question, please.
First of all, was it my understanding that you referred to him as Eric?
Right.
Okay. And was Eric someone who was frequently visited your house?
On several occasions, yes.
Was he friends with Carl?
I don't know that you would call him friend. He was Fred Wyatt's stepson
Okay.
through common law marriage.
Okay. And at some point, did Melissa say anything to you about making a complaint against Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
And what was that?
It was that he molested her.
Okay. And how old was she when she made that claim?
I think it was right before her 9th birthday.
Is that when she told you, or is that when she said it happened, or was that the same?
It was when we found out. That's when she told us.
Okay. And did you go to the police with that?
Yes.
And was Mr. Jackson indicted for that?
No, he was not.
And, okay. So there was no prosecution for that?
Right.
Wasn't Mr. Jackson also the son of Richard Russell Jackson?
Yes.
And who was Richard Russell Jackson?
He was a friend of Fred.
And was he also one of Carl Patton's victims?
Yes.
And during the time that Eric Jackson came to your house and associated with your family, did he know that Carl had killed his father?
No.
When did he find out?
Probably not until 2003.
Okay. So Carl continued leading him on as a friend or family member.
Yes.
Now, Carl, because of his crimes, we've heard already, he was convicted, correct?
Correct.
And he was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences.
Yes.
And I believe on the 5th one, the judge said, kind of, what's the point? We'll just make this one concurrent, right? And even though Carl had multiple life sentences in jail, he was still technically, or at least as far as you guys understood, eligible for parole, wasn't
Yes.
he? And you firmly expected and planned that Carl would be paroled.
Yes.
And you actually thought that was going to happen soon, didn't you?
I hoped.
In 2021, you told investigators in an interview, correct me if I'm wrong, that the only reason Carl had not been paroled already was because his son-in-law had a criminal record and was on probation. Is that correct?
Probably yes.
If I were to show you a transcript of that interview, would it refresh your memory? Apologizing for the small print.
Okay.
So you told Shepard in that interview that you believed as soon as Christopher got put in jail, you think Carl would get to come back home to you, correct?
That's what I'd hoped. Yes.
But that's also what you told him.
Yes.
Right. And you worked tirelessly for years trying to get Christopher arrested, didn't you?
Yes.
You've done podcasts.
Yes.
You've done crime conventions.
Yes.
And you've repeated these sentiments about parole on Cheryl McCollum's podcast, haven't you?
Yes.
And wasn't Cheryl, in fact, actively advocating for Carl to get parole
Yes.
in exchange for him giving her details about his life to write a book about?
Yes.
And did Carl and Miss Collum, do you know, carry on an active correspondence?
Yes.
How long did that go on?
Several years.
Did you read those letters?
Some of them.
Did he talk about thank you for helping me in parole? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that appears in many of his letters, doesn't it?
Yes.
If you knew something was wrong with Melissa at Christmas, Why did you wait almost 60 days before you went up to check on her?
Because I had to convince her daddy that something was wrong.
Do you drive?
Yes,
Do you have a car at the time?
yes,
Why didn't you go by yourself?
because I didn't want to go to Atlanta by myself. He kept telling me that she's going to call today, you know, and giving her more time because she didn't have access to a phone like I had access to a phone.
She worked at Waffle House, didn't she?
Yes,
And she could have called you from Waffle House?
I don't know.
She spent time at
She had never called me from Waffle House, so I'm not sure when she worked at Waffle House,
I see.
the time frame of when she worked.
You went up to Brookline after your birthday,
Yes,
found nothing. Why didn't you report her then
I tried to,
to Atlanta?
but yes,
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that one reason that you didn't report her is because you had had another daughter that left for a long time without contacting you?
and
Do you remember that?
Yes,
Okay. But you just testified earlier that these two daughters were absolutely different.
right. But
She wasn't. Go ahead.
The situation was the same.
Right.
They were both over 18. Kind of I was always told that because she was over 18, she could come and go as she pleased. And the same thing applied to Melissa. The only difference between Melissa was she was married, which made it more difficult, and she didn't live with me.
But we're talking about their personalities.
Right,
Your reason to Detective Calhoun was you didn't go check on Melissa for a long time because Tina never called you back for a long time. And in fact, Tina had left her children with you, hadn't she?
yes,
But Melissa was an entirely different personality like that. You said
Yes.
she's not bullheaded and rebellious and self-willed like that. She's a mama's girl.
right.
So why would you assume that she's going to act like Tina acted?
I did not assume. I knew that she would call me.
Okay. You said that after your birthday, you started listening to news reports.
Yes,
Do you remember speaking on Ms. McCollum's podcast saying if they said anything about a body being found anywhere, you would listen?
yes,
By the time of your birthday, you had not heard from Melissa for about roughly 3 months, 2 months to 3 months. Is that correct?
correct.
What made you think in that short time frame that there would be a body involved?
I did not know. I just listened to the news, and because I had not heard from Melissa, I was worried.
You said the last time you spoke to Melissa, she asked for a very unique, sentimental Christmas present.
When she was in,
Just yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And that present was a picture of her pawpaw,
of her with her papa.
her with her pawpaw. And that was Carl Patton's father, correct?
Yes,
Is that the same father that was the alcoholic passed out on the couch?
yes.
No further questions.
Mr. Fawcett?
And Ms. Patton, you were just testifying as to your hope that Carl Patton would at some point parole,
Right.
and that's after you testified against him in court. Is that also correct?
Correct.
How long did you testify against your husband? Is that over the course of a day, 2 days?
It was all one day.
And when you testified against your husband, did you actually implicate him in the murders themselves?
Yes.
And how many different murders did you implicate your husband involved during the course of your testimony?
The last two are the only two that I witnessed.
Okay. And at any point, what was your relationship like with your husband after you testified against him?
I went to see him on a regular basis.
You continued, it was your intent to continue to stay married after his conviction?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, did he continue to look at you as his wife and you, I guess, and you as his wife?
Yes.
Was there any animosity or anger as a result of the, I guess, your action of testifying against your husband?
No.
And why not?
Because he wanted me to do what I did and testify against it so that I would be able to raise my two grandkids that I had custody of.
Did you actually discuss it? Did he know that you were going to testify against him before it was offered?
Yes, he told me to.
And did Carl Patton keep up with the status of the criminal case, the case involving the disappearance and murder of his daughter, Melissa?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Because he wrote to Cheryl McCollum.
Is that something that you discussed with Carl Patton throughout the years?
Pretty much, yes.
And as you start to make contact with Detective Shepard in 2021, do you also keep Carl Patton informed of those discussions as well?
Yes.
What about at the point when this case is indicted in 2024? Do you discuss that with Carl Patton?
Yes.
And can you describe his reaction? How did the news of the indictment of this defendant for the murder of your daughter, how was that received?
He was very happy.
Why would you say that?
Well, because Chris was going to have to face up to what he did.
And to the best of your knowledge, was that the feelings of Carl Patton at the time of his death?
Yes.
Now, your testimony as to the specifics of the Flint River homicides, did any of those homicides involve dismemberment?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, did any of those homicides involve the use of a circular saw?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, they don't?
Right.
That's all I have, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. McDermott?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Patton. You may step down. The witness can be excused, Mr. Fassett.
No objection.
Mr. McDermott?
No objection.
Okay, you are excused as a witness, Ms. Patton. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take a lunch break while we're in between witnesses. It is 1:05. I'm going to try and get us back in here as close to 2 o'clock as I can. So we are excused for lunch. Thank you. Here, First, I want to apologize for all the throat clearing. I picked up a case of the sniffles at my house over the weekend. So, but there were two objections where the parties approached. And I just want to make a quick record of that. Number one, excuse me, Mr. Fawcett, on behalf of the state, objected regarding a line of questioning about Mr. Patton's crimes. And Mr. Fawcett's objection was based on the court's prior in limine ruling. I communicated to the parties at the bench that to the extent that the questioning was limited to matters about which Ms. Patton had direct knowledge and involvement, that was, I thought was relevant and not overly prejudicial, but that we were going to stay away from sort of gratuitous discussion of the specific details of the alleged crimes as they were committed by Mr. Patton. And that was the nature of that discussion at the bench. And then additionally, there was an objection regarding the relevance of a person whose name I can't remember, but his presence in the house, who is an alleged child molester or had committed an act of molestation against Melissa. I also overruled that one from the state in terms of its relevance. Any other record you want to make on those issues, Mr. Fawcett, on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDermott?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I would just like to revisit one issue, Mr. McDermott, and it's that I did sustain one objection we didn't approach, but there was an objection regarding the baby that was found in the house. And I believe my pretrial ruling was that we weren't going to go into any prosecution of Tina Patton. And your question, although I did say that the fact of that occurrence I thought was relevant, and your question was either a compound question or two questions in a row, but the second question, which I sustained the objection, was regarding whether or not Tina Patton was prosecuted for that. So just a reminder that my recollection, and if the transcript doesn't bear that out, then I will be corrected. But my recollection of the nature of my ruling was that whether she was prosecuted for it or not was not really relevant to the issue, and that we weren't going to go into that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else the parties want the court to address before we adjourn for lunch?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we are adjourned for lunch. I'll see you at 2. Okay, we're going to go back on the record. After our lunch break, I'll note that Mr. Wolfenbarger is present here in the courtroom. Any matters we need to take up before we bring the jury back in? Mr. Fawcett?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDermott?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we're ready for the jury. Thank you all. Please be seated. Deputy, please wait for just a minute.
Dixon?
Thank you. Come on up, sir, to the witness stand. And when you get to the witness stand, if you will turn and face the deputy before you have a seat, raise your right hand. She'll swear you in. Okay, sir?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give this court today is the truth?
So just pull up to the microphone, get close situated. Just be cautious of those wheels on that ledge there.
Okay. My name is Thomas Michael Dixon.
And you can move the microphone towards you if it is helpful. And could you spell your name, please, sir?
Thomas, Thomas, Dixon, Dixon.
Okay. Mr. Dixon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tell the court, were you in the Atlanta area in 1998?
Yes.
All right. At that point, how long had you been living in the Atlanta area?
I've been in the Atlanta area since '93. This is when I first arrived here in Georgia.
All right. Now, during that period...
Forgive me. I definitely am going to need you to pull that microphone towards you.
Okay.
Make sure my court reporter and I can hear you clearly. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Fawcett.
All right. During that period, were you employed?
Yes.
And what were you doing for a living?
Waffle House.
And what did you do while you were working at Waffle House?
I cooked.
All right. And that would have been in that period of 1998?
Yes.
Specifically, what locations, Waffle House locations, did you work at?
Many locations. When I first got there in '93, I started out on Buford Highway in Doraville. And then I transferred from there. It was, I can't say the exact year, '97. It was after the Olympics.
Okay.
And I transferred over to Peachtree Corners.
And do you remember what time of year you would have been at Peachtree Corners?
Yeah, it was in 1998.
Okay, would that have been at the beginning, the middle, or the end of 1998?
About the middle.
All right. You familiar with the name Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes, sir.
How do you know that name?
She was my waitress.
All right. And when you say waitress, describe what your role at Waffle House and what her role would have been.
I was like the shift supervisor, cook, management. At that time, earlier in my career, I was just mostly a cook and just a shift supervisor.
Okay. And what types of, when you say you were a supervisor, what types of responsibilities would a supervisor have in relationship to, say, a waitress, as Melissa Wolfenbarger would have been employed in?
It's a team effort. When we work together, we help each other out, support each other on the floor, take care of customers.
Do you recall what locations, Waffle House locations, you would have worked at with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
And what locations were those?
I started working with her in Doraville on a Buford Highway location, and then I seen her again over when I transferred to. I can't think of the unit number. It's Peachtree Corners, though. The one I transferred to Peachtree Corners. She was over there.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
She was my friend. She was one of my really close friends. The girls that I work with it's kind of like a family thing at Waffle House. You know, we establish a close relationship when we work with each other.
Did you talk about your families, your children with Melissa Wolfenbarger? Did you discuss that?
No.
Did Melissa Wolfenbarger discuss her personal circumstances with you?
She usually did it to another waitress. She usually talked to another waitress that was one of our friends. Her name was Elizabeth. And her name was Elizabeth. Uh-huh. And Elizabeth would come back and tell me, back at that time I was...
Sustained.
Well, I didn't get that he was going to repeat an out-of-court statement. Now, Mr. Dixon, we want to try to avoid repeating anything that someone else said out of court.
Okay.
But I do want to keep you on that period at Waffle House in '98. When you started working with Melissa at I believe you said it was the Doraville location?
Yes.
Around what time of year would that have been?
About the middle of the year, I'd say.
And then do you recall around what time of year you would have started working with Melissa at the Peachtree Corners location?
Later that year.
And at any point, can you tell the jury if the nature of your relationship with Melissa Wolfenbarger changed at any point?
We just became closer.
All right. At any point, did you become intimate with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
Can you tell us around when in the relationship during the year did that occur?
In the year, probably around toward the later fall.
Okay. And when you say intimate, did Melissa ever spend any time at any location that you may have been staying at during that period?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, she, when I first met her, it was her birthday, and I took her out for her birthday dinner across the street from where we worked at in Doraville to a Chinese restaurant. And we had too much to drink, and we went and got a hotel room behind the Waffle House that night. And I was respectful. None of us, we didn't have any intercourse or no sexual relations that night. She went home the next morning because she said she had to get back to her kids. And we continued to work. You know, she came in, I went home, she went home, and we came back to work at 2:30 in the afternoon. We worked the afternoon shift.
All right. At any point, did you come to learn that Melissa was married?
Yes.
How did you learn that?
I believe it was just her sharing with Elizabeth and talking to me.
Okay. Did she actually discuss, did she actually tell you that she was married?
No.
Melissa never told you that she was married?
Not that she was married, but I knew she had a boyfriend.
Did you ever meet that person that you describe as being Melissa's boyfriend?
One time.
All right. Do you recall that instance when you met him?
Yes.
What do you recall about that date?
It was in the evening, and we was both about ready to get off work, and Chris showed up at the job, and he came inside the restaurant, and I was on the grill cooking, and Melissa was over there sitting down talking to him at the booth, and then she got up and ran to the back room, was crying, and I went to the back room and asked her what's wrong, and she was just, I couldn't really understand what she was, because she was crying, hysterical. And she said something about it was him, you know, he's messing with her. So he was on his way out, and I followed him out, and I told him, I said, leave her alone until 9 o'clock. I said, after 9 o'clock, then you can have her, but until then, she's mine.
Okay. How close were you to the person you described as being Melissa's boyfriend? How close were you to him at the time you said that?
We was in front of each other, maybe a couple feet apart.
So both outside?
Yes.
And was there any response at that time?
No.
What happened after that?
Just turned around and went and got in his car, and I went back inside, and we went back to work.
At any point, did you see that individual leave the restaurant?
Who? Chris?
Yes.
He was leaving when I followed him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see him leave in the vehicle?
Yeah, with her that night when they left.
How would you describe the manner in which he drove off?
Very irate.
What do you mean by that?
Tires were squealing and peeling up and down the road.
Did it appear to you at the time that he was upset?
Yeah.
Now, at that point, had you and Melissa become intimate?
Yes.
All right. And when did that occur?
I don't know exactly when. It was, she stayed with me for about 4 or 5 days during that week because, let me see, I had came to work one day, and we always go back and smoke cigarettes, and we would be drinking beer or something while we're at work, and we would talk, and she would tell me, you know, about an abusive relationship she was in.
Okay. If I can get you to just speak up so I can make sure I'm hearing everything that you're saying, could you repeat that?
Yes, she would talk to me about her abusive relationship with Chris.
Okay. How, and you say abusive, but when you describe it as abusive, what exactly did she say to give you the impression she was describing abuse?
I mean, she wouldn't really exactly describe, the details, but I could see it. It was visible on her body.
And what do you mean by that?
The marks, the scratches, the bruises.
Okay. You saw signs of what appeared to be abuse.
Yeah.
And where on her body would you see that?
On her arms. I seen one on her cheekbone.
And besides the individual that you're referring to, did you know any of Melissa's family, sister? Did you know any family members?
No. Mm-mm.
And when you and Melissa had become intimate, was there any point when you had unprotected sex with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
And would that have been towards that end period you've been testifying to in 1998?
Yes.
And how soon after, say, you became intimate, the last point when you were intimate with Melissa Wolfenbarger was the last time you actually saw her?
Maybe a day or two later.
Okay.
Is when we went to work, and that's when Chris came up there to the job, and she said she had to go home. She mentioned something about her kids.
Okay. And at that point, did you have the knowledge that she had children?
I always she talked about her kids. Yeah.
And then how would she, when she would talk about her children, how would she speak about them?
Very briefly. I mean, it wasn't really a topic. You know, she said she had kids and she missed them. She said that a few times while we was together.
Do you remember describing a type of vehicle that you saw defendant drive off in?
Yeah, it was like a yellow slug bug back in the 90s. You know, like a Volkswagen.
Volkswagen,
yeah.
Okay. Like a Volkswagen Beetle, is that what you just?
Yes.
One moment, Judge.
Okay.
Mr. Dixon, do you recall giving a statement to law enforcement, the detectives in this case?
Yeah, back in 2003.
Okay, back in 2003.
Yeah.
All right. Do you recall a time frame that you were able to give the detectives as to the last date, the last month that you saw Melissa Wolfenbarger?
I believe I told them the same thing that
Okay.
I told you.
You recall what was that date that you saw Melissa Wolfenbarger, the actual month itself?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. If you were to see a copy of some of your report, would that assist in refreshing your recollection?
Most likely would.
What page is that? Page 12.
Starting right here, where it's starting right there.
Just read it to yourself. Don't read it in the microphone.
In December.
No, sorry. He's telling you to just read it to yourself because he wants to know if reading that refreshes your memory about the question he's just asked you. So if you could just read it to yourself and then he'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. After having looked at that, do you recall the month that you told law enforcement you saw Melissa Wolfenbarger in 98?
Yes.
And what month was that?
December.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. McDermott?
Mr. Dixon, you and I have never had the opportunity of speaking together before. Okay.
Mr. Dixon, if you would. That was, I think you were nodding your head. Did you mean yes?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. If you'll just try and give an out loud yes or no.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
So you just mentioned that the first time you kind of began to get intimate with Melissa was on her birthday. Is that correct?
Well, no, nothing happened that night.
Okay.
No.
You
But
just-
I liked her. We liked each other. You know, we was growing closer.
Didn't you share a room that night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, nothing ever happened, though.
And at the time, you lived with a woman named Deborah, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I was living with Deborah. Yeah.
And she had an ex-husband that she lived with?
John.
And you rented a room from them?
Yes.
And you were also having an affair with Deborah also, is that correct?
Yes.
And when Deborah found out you were having an affair with Melissa, that kind of a trouble happened at Waffle House, right?
Yeah.
And did the manager require one of y'all to leave or to come up with some settlement of that?
No.
Okay. And you said Melissa stayed with you a few times?
Just she stayed with me one time, and I wasn't living with Deborah at that time. I was over in Liberty Heights after I moved out of Deborah's house.
Okay. You got a new place of your own? Or
Yes.
were you renting a room there too, or did you have your own place? Okay. But you had a little more freedom.
Yes.
This incident where you say that you met her boyfriend and he picked her up in the car. Apparently he did something to make her cry in the store, right?
Yes.
And then he goes out to the car, and then later that night she gets in the car and leaves with him. And you just, is that correct?
No, he went out. As he was going to the car, that's when I came out behind him.
But later that night she got in that car
When she was off, yes.
when she got off after 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And you described that car as a yellow Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And are you aware that Christopher never owned a yellow Volkswagen?
No.
And you said he peeled out down the road? Mm-hmm. The phrase you used, I think, was he was squalling up and down the road?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to squall out in a Volkswagen Beetle?
No.
Do you remember telling deputies or telling an investigator that you had sex with Melissa multiple times?
Maybe I might have.
Did you have sex with Melissa multiple times?
No, maybe
3 times?
3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember asking Melissa if she could get pregnant?
No.
If I showed you a transcript of your interview with Detective Calhoun in 2003, would that maybe refresh your memory?
Probably, yes.
And I apologize for the fine print. Please read this here.
I don't remember asking her.
Don't answer any questions yet. You did ask her if she could get pregnant, and she told you no. Isn't that correct?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
You've testified here about Melissa talking about her children, and you said two things that weren't clear to me. On the one hand, you said she didn't really talk about her children, but then you also said, yeah, she mentioned her children a few times and said she missed them,
Yeah.
or that she needed to get back to them.
Yeah, we didn't really get into like detail about her kids, you know, because we was always just having fun, just drinking and socializing.
Yeah.
We didn't get into no details.
But did she talk about her children to you?
I've heard her say some stuff about her kids, like she missed them and stuff like that.
Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun that she never talked about her children?
No.
If I showed you a transcript of that interview, may it refresh your memory?
Maybe.
We'll take a chance.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. That's his question. My apologies. That.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. That up there?
What is what?
You ever mentioned any parents?
Hey, forgive me, but don't read it out loud, please. Thank you.
I mean, I don't.
To be clear, that was his question to you.
Oh.
So when Detective Calhoun asked you if she ever talked about her family or her parents or anybody to you, you told him that she didn't talk about her mom, dad, brothers, sisters, nothing. She never even talked about her kids.
She told me she had kids. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to consider that talking about them, I don't know.
You say that Melissa was close to you and that she disclosed these details, or you didn't say that she disclosed these details. Do you remember talking to these people, Mr. Fawcett and a couple of investigators, maybe a few weeks ago? Do you remember that?
Where at my residence?
In Rome, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they came out and interviewed you freshly regarding the details of what happened back then.
Yes.
And do you remember them telling you something about her telling you about instances of abuse?
We didn't go over what was discussed in the 2003 interview.
Apologize, sir, but if you could lean forward, you are really quiet.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My
Thank
question is, do you remember telling them at that time about an instance that Melissa told you about abuse?
I mean, she mentioned stuff about being, abused.
So you just testified here this morning that she did not tell you about instances of abuse, but that you only saw marks on her body.
I seen marks on her body, and I heard from her, that he was abusive. I mean, but
You literally just testified a while ago
Okay.
that she did not tell you about instances of abuse. Isn't that correct?
Okay.
And when you talk to these, I keep pointing to them, but it was really only Mr. Fawcett that was with the group. And Detective Shepard was with that group, and Detective Kennedy, I believe. When you talked to that group a few weeks ago, do you remember telling them that you have been interested in Melissa's case all across the years?
Yes.
And did you a couple of times tell them that you had watched videos?
Yes.
Okay. What videos had you watched about Melissa?
Just when the cold case files.
So you've watched media presentations about her case.
Yeah.
And isn't it the case that you took some details from what you heard and told them to the investigators a few weeks ago as if they were things you remembered?
No. It's just what I can remember, what I can't remember.
Is it possible that some of the things you've listened to over 20 years of videos and interest in Melissa has has combined with the things that you think you remember about her?
I haven't heard anything.
Is it possible?
No, I haven't heard anything until I found out he was arrested.
So if he was arrested a year ago, you've had at least a year to watch videos?
Yeah.
Did you listen to any podcasts?
No.
Okay. You testified just a few minutes ago that when Melissa decided to leave at one point, she told you she had to go home because she missed her kids or something about her kids.
Yeah.
But again, you told Detective Calhoun back in the days, which was much closer, that she never talked about her kids.
If I did, I did.
And would you agree with me that the interview you gave Detective Calhoun in 2003 was much closer to the events than today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling the investigators a few weeks ago that it was difficult, or that Melissa never kept in touch with you because we didn't have cell phones back then?
What about it? What was your question?
Do you remember telling the detectives a few weeks ago that one reason you couldn't keep in touch with Melissa is because we didn't have cell phones back then?
I might have said that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that you had a cell phone?
I might have had one in prepaid one.
So you would have had a cell phone?
I might have had one around that, when, 2003?
Yes.
I don't think.
If I showed you your comments from 2003, would that
You can, yeah.
So you do remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that you had a cell phone?
That ain't got nothing to do with 2003.
This interview was given in 2003.
What was that? What was that I was reading about?
Hang on, sir. I don't want you to state the substance of what you read, but you can ask him for clarification.
You're asking about what you were reading?
Yeah.
I believe you were describing an incident in which you had gotten into some altercation with some other boys.
Right.
And what year did that happen?
Yeah, that was around 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this interview was given to Detective Calhoun in 2003, correct?
Well, I don't understand. Why would he have that interview of something totally different in 2000?
You were describing many things during that interview with Detective Calhoun, right?
Okay.
It was about an hour-long interview, is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And it just happened to be one of the things you were telling him about?
When I got in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before 2003 when he came to see me, though.
Okay, so you had a cell phone already in 2000?
That was, yeah, prepaid.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now, you've testified here today that you saw marks on Melissa's body, her cheekbone, I think you said scratches on her arms and legs.
Bruises, yeah.
Bruises. And isn't it true that when you were interviewed in 2003, you never mentioned abuse, you never mentioned bruises, you never mentioned scratches, you never mentioned a single altercation to Detective Calhoun?
That might have been possible.
Isn't that correct?
Oh, I don't know if it's correct. It might be possible.
Have you ever had a chance to review the interview you gave Detective Calhoun in 2003?
No.
The DA's office didn't tell you? Do you remember an interview you gave in 2003?
I remember the interview, yeah.
in preparing you for testifying, did they tell you about a 2003 interview?
No.
Okay. And they didn't give you a transcript of it? And if I told you that in 34 pages of that transcript, there's not a single mention of bruising, altercations, scratches, or anything between Chris and Melissa, would you deny that?
I don't know. What do you mean, what I deny?
Would you deny that you never mentioned any of those things in that interview?
In the 2003 interview? I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Do you remember telling the investigators a few weeks ago that you and Melissa regularly worked together?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that you only ever worked the same shift twice in the whole time that you knew her?
No.
If I showed you the transcript, would that maybe refresh your interview?
Yeah.
Your recollection?
Sure. I don't remember this as my statement.
To clarify, yes, that's your statement. You don't remember then telling Calhoun that I don't know who worked with her because we didn't work the same shift. I worked with her one day. Matter of fact, it's 2 days.
No, I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Just a moment, Your Honor, please.
Sure.
Mr. Dixon, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Yes.
And when was the most recent time?
2010.
2010.
Mm-hmm.
Did they convict you of a new felony, or did they just violate your probation?
Probation violation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the reason for that probation violation?
Non-reporting.
In 2010?
No, 2010 is when I got arrested.
Okay. And what were you convicted of?
Robbery by intimidation.
And you were robbing a bank, is that correct?
Yes.
And you told the teller...
Not banks. One bank.
I thought I said a bank. I'm sorry. And how much time did you serve?
10 years.
10 years. And you got out in 2020, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Fawcett?
Mr. Dixon, when did you come to find out about Melissa Wolfenbarger's open cold case?
When he came and talked to me in 2003, but then I didn't hear nothing else until 2010 when I went to prison.
Okay. Did you ever see a card or image?
Yes.
With Melissa Wolfenbarger's image on it?
When I went to jail in 2010, I haven't heard anything since 2003. The interview with the detective, and then I went to jail in Fulton County in 2010, and I was playing cards, and her picture was on a playing card. It was a cold case files.
Okay. Prior to that, did you have any knowledge of that there was an actual open case pending?
No, I didn't. I done moved on, forgot.
Now, in addition to the abrasions that you've testified that you observed, did Melissa ever describe did she ever describe verbally with any type of detail what the defendant had done to her?
I heard one time that she was pulled by her hair up and down the sidewalk.
Okay. And who exactly are you referring to, and who was pulled by the hair?
Melissa.
And to the best of your recollection, who was it that's it's being described as the person who's responsible for that?
Christopher.
And is that information that you would have received from Melissa Wolfenbarger during that 1998 period?
Yeah.
That's all I have, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. McDermott?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Okay.
Witness can be excused. Mr. Fawcett? Or may the witness be excused? Okay.
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You are excused. Ms. Hilton, state may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Christina Garrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, while the witness is coming in, I just want to apologize for all of my sniffling. I got a case of the sniffles over the weekend, so sorry about that. So why don't we go ahead and let the witness come on up, and then y'all can get that arranged. Thank you, ma'am. If you'll come up to the witness stand, when you get there, before you have a seat, if you'll turn and face the deputy and raise your right hand, she'll swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to testify to the best of the question that you will surely the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, ladies, seated. One seat.
Christina Garrett.
And good afternoon. How old are you?
Just turned 30.
And when you say you just turned 30, when was your birthday?
August 15th,
Was that on Friday?
Friday. Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any siblings?
Yes.
How many?
I have one full, one half, both brothers.
Hang on. Forgive me. Yeah. Actually, normally I'm telling witnesses to scoot forward, but I think you're so far forward that you're talking past the microphone.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you'll just
Here?
scoot up towards the microphone so that you're
Okay.
in front of it to make sure that we can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, now you said you have one full brother.
Correct.
What do you mean by when you say I have one full brother?
By the same mom and the same dad.
And who is what's the name of that brother?
Joey,
And who is your mother and your father?
Melissa and Chris Wolfenbarger.
And how old is Joey?
Turned 29 on July 5th,
And what year was he born?
1996.
And then you have a second. Is it a half brother or sister?
Half brother,
What is his name?
Alias,
And what year was he born?
2006.
And do you all share the same father?
Correct.
Are you the oldest?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently working?
No, ma'am.
Have you previously worked?
I have
What type of work have you
I was a server at a steakhouse, and I worked in hotels briefly.
Are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have?
3 boys.
Now, were you raised by Melissa Wolfenbarger or Christopher Wolfenbarger?
Christopher Wolfenbarger's parents raised me.
And what are their names?
Kathy and Alan.
They said these are Chris's parents?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's their last name?
Wolfenbarger.
Your Honor, we can't see the demonstrative. It'd be helpful if we could all see it.
Your Honor, if you put it up there, they won't be able to see the witness, so we've...
Well, I will, I mean, it will block the jury door. We'll have to move it, but if you want to put it there, then everybody would be able to see it, and possibly the only person that with their back to it would be you.
Okay,
If you put it there to the left of the TV screen.
okay. I'll ask, have them do it while I continue to ask questions.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
And did you have a name for Alan?
Yes, I called him Boo. B-O-O.
And have you always called him Boo?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were younger, what, if anything, did you call Kathy?
At first, Mom.
And at some point in time, did that change from calling her mom?
It did.
We'll get there.
Okay.
When you were younger, who did you think was your biological mother?
Chris's parents.
Did you think that Alan was your father as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you think Kathy was your mother?
That was my earliest memories were with her and with Boo.
When you were younger, did anyone ever tell you that Kathy was not your biological mother?
No.
When you were younger, did Kathy ever talk to you about Melissa?
No, ma'am.
Did Alan ever talk to you about Melissa?
No, ma'am.
Now, at any point in time, did you ever live with anyone else besides Kathy or Alan?
I didn't go stay with Chris until senior year of high school, but until then I lived with both of them.
I apologize.
Same.
No, you're fine. Just try and keep your voice up a little bit because Miss Cantrell and I have our back. You have your back to us.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, did Kathy and Boo have any other children?
They had Chris and then his sister Kimberly, who we called Kitty.
Who's older, Chris or Kitty?
Chris.
And you said Kitty's name is Kimberly?
Kimberly. Yes, ma'am.
When you were younger, who did you think Chris and Kimberly struck at? What relationship did you think that Chris and Kimberly were to you?
Older siblings.
Now, at any point in time, did you ever meet Kathy's parents?
Yes.
Okay. And tell the jurors what is Kathy's parents' mother's name?
Virginia Autry. We called her Nanny.
And then what is Kathy's father's name?
William Autry. We called him Papa.
And what did you call Virginia?
Nanny. Yes, ma'am.
When you were younger, what relationship did you think you had with Virginia and William?
Those are my grandparents. You're totally fine.
Now, when you were younger, did you have an understanding of the term great-granddaughter?
No, ma'am.
Had you heard that term?
I would hear my nanny tell other people that I was her great-granddaughter.
And what was your
But not ever
understanding
did.
of what Nana was telling other people?
I thought that meant out of all of her grandchildren that I was her favorite.
You thought that you were the favorite, you were the greatest and the best.
Yes.
Now, where were you raised?
With Kathy in Locust Grove.
And is that down in Henry County?
It is in Henry County.
And who lived in the house with you when you were younger?
At the time, it was Kathy and Boo, and also Kitty, me, Joey. Kitty was also with a man named Philip, and they had a baby, Tristan. Sorry.
So you said it was Kathy, what was Kitty's boyfriend?
She was with a man, Philip, and they had Tristan.
And then you and Joey?
And then me and my brother Joey. Yes, ma'am.
And what did they call you?
Chrissy.
Now, your Nana and Pawpaw, where do they live?
Stockbridge.
Now, to your knowledge, when you were younger, did your family have property in the city of Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay. How did you become aware that your family had property in the city of Atlanta?
Nanny and Kathy would take us up there to check on the properties.
Do you know where the properties were?
Brookline, off of Avon Avenue.
Do you know how many properties that they have on Brookline?
I know of at least 3.
All on Brookline?
Yes, ma'am. Across the road from each other.
Speak up for me.
I'm sorry, across the road from each other.
And you said 2 of them were across the street from each other.
They were.
Did you have any family that lived in any of those 3 houses?
As far as I know, it was only family in the house.
Only family. Who lived on Brookline? What family members?
There was Nanny and Pawpaw's first son, Ricky.
Okay.
One of Nanny's brothers.
Do you know the name?
It was either Roy or Troy. They were twins, and I'm not sure which one of the twins.
Anyone else?
And then my parents had the other property.
Your parents had the other property.
Mm-hmm.
And we say your parents talking about Melissa and
Chris and Melissa, yes, ma'am.
Now I want to talk about your childhood, probably somewhere between the ages of 8 and
Okay.
younger. Okay.
Okay.
That period of your childhood. Hey, what year were you born?
1995.
So around 2003.
Okay.
Okay. What was your relationship like with Chris?
I didn't know him at the time until he came to visit Kathy at her Locust Grove house.
You said you didn't know him at the time?
No.
Okay. And you said not until he came to visit at Kathy's house?
He came to talk with Kathy. I'm not sure what for, but they were just talking, and I happened to be there at the time.
When he would come over and talk to Kathy, would he spend time with you?
Very little.
earliest memory about how old do you think you are?
Would have been about 5.
At that time, when you saw him coming to speak to Kathy, around 5 years old, did you know he was your biological father?
No, ma'am.
At any point in your childhood, between 5 and 8, did you come to learn that he was your biological father?
Yes, I was told by Kathy he was my dad after that visit.
At that time, once you learned that Chris was your father, did you know who your mother, your biological mother was?
No, ma'am.
Did Kathy or Chris ever explain to you at that time who your biological mother was?
No, ma'am.
As a child, what did you think about Chris being your father and now Kathy being your mother, as you thought in your head at that time?
It was very confusing. Didn't make sense.
Why?
It just seemed odd. I thought Boo was my dad, so.
Now, do you have any memory of Melissa?
No, ma'am.
Now, when you were younger, did you ever see any pictures of Melissa?
I saw a picture that had been behind the door and it got taken down.
Behind the door?
The front door of Kathy's house.
About how old were you, do you think, when you saw this picture behind the door?
About 5.
And when you say behind the door, is this the bedroom door, kitchen door?
The living room door.
And explain, when you say behind the door, is it like a picture that was on the door, on the wall, or something else?
It was on the wall behind the door.
Why did you think that that was a picture of your mother?
It was a picture of me and my brother, very small, and it was when I saw that there was Chris, the man that I had just seen, was also there posed as the dad, and there was another woman that I didn't recognize.
Did you ever ask anyone about that picture?
Yes,
Who did you ask?
Kathy.
At this point, do you remember any response that Kathy gave about that picture?
She took the picture down.
Before taking the picture down, did she explain who the lady was in the picture?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever see any other pictures with that lady between that age of 5 and 8?
I found them probably closer to it being 8 or 9 in Kathy's closet.
When you said they were in Kathy's closet, describe to the jury what you're talking about.
So in the top of the master closet, it was a walk-in closet. She had lots of photo albums. So I pulled some down, started going through the pictures, and saw a lot more pictures of the same woman that had been in that picture.
And when you saw these photos of that same woman, what did you do?
Wanted to go to Kathy and ask her about them.
And did you, I'm sorry.
Just that she packed them up. She didn't want to talk about it.
So I'm saying clearly, after you saw the pictures, you went and asked Kathy about those pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she ever give you explanations as to who that person was?
No, ma'am.
What did she do with the pictures after you asked her about them?
She took the photo albums and moved them to a shed in the backyard.
So that removing them from her closet and taking them outside of the house into a shed?
The shed was actually a locked shed, and the key to the shed was in Boo's room, separate from the master room.
After she took those pictures and put them in the shed and locked them, did you ever see those pictures ever again?
No, ma'am.
After not seeing those pictures, did you ever see any other pictures of your mother?
I did get some pictures from Nanny. She had some at her house, but she let me have copies of them.
You said she did let you have copies?
She did.
Now, did Nanny ever explain to you who the lady was in those pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that how you learned who your mother was?
Yes, ma'am.
Without telling me what Nana said, was Nana ever able to tell you about the relationship between your biological mother and Chris?
She explained it was very troubled.
Do you have any knowledge as to whether or not Chris and Melissa lived with your Nana?
Yes.
Did they ever live with your Nana?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Not before 2003. I would have been much older.
around 2003, how did you come to learn about Melissa's parents?
At the funeral.
When you say the funeral, what funeral?
Melissa's funeral.
And sitting here today, can you remember when the funeral was?
Would have been early in the year. I want to say either 2002 or 2003.
Did your Nana ever talk to you about Melissa's parents?
Yes.
If we're talking about 2003, did Nana speak to you about Melissa's parents before the funeral or after the funeral?
It was on the way to the funeral.
And on the way to the funeral, did you get an understanding of who Melissa's parents were to you?
No, we were told they were bad people and that we didn't want to talk to them.
And who was relaying this information?
Kathy and Nanny.
Now, when you get to the funeral, let me actually strike that. Who all went to the funeral that you can remember?
Kathy, Nanny, me, my brother, Kitty, and Chris.
And did everyone, from what you can remember, want to go to the funeral?
No, ma'am.
Who didn't want to go to the funeral?
Chris and Kathy both didn't want to go.
And this is the funeral of your mother,
Yes, ma'am.
Melissa.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, once you got to the funeral, strike that, I'm making that inference. Did you get to the funeral?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you got to the funeral, did you see the individuals identified as the Pattons?
Yes, ma'am.
How were you made aware that some people there were the Pattons?
They were sitting on the front row.
And seeing them, was that your first time ever seeing any of the people identified as the Pattons?
I realized I had seen Norma Patton before.
How had you seen Norma Patton previously?
She showed up at Kathy's front yard asking where her daughter was.
So this funeral was in 2003. About how much time before had Norma shown up at Kathy's house looking for her daughter?
It had been about 2 years at that point.
Now, going back to when you used to call her Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
when Norma showed up at the yard looking for her daughter, can you tell the jury what you remember about that?
Yes, we had just pulled in ourselves, so we were getting out of the car, and another woman pulled up, parked on the road, and got out and was yelling at Kathy, asking where her daughter was.
Dr. Hearsay.
You're right. I'm not offering it for the truth of the matter, sir. I'm offering.
Come here.
You need to ask a question?
Please.
Sure. Tell the jurors what you recall happening when this woman appeared at your home.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we had just gotten home ourselves. She pulled up and parked on the road and got out of her car and started yelling at Kathy, asking where her daughter was. Kathy said, "I thought she was with you," and she said, "You know she's not with me. She's with Chris."
Were you asked to do anything at that point?
I was told to go inside the house.
And did you all go in the house?
We went right in front of the screen door.
So is it like little kids, you still with the hair?
Yes.
All right, I understand. And you said the we. Who is the we?
Me and my brother Joey.
At that time when this incident occurred, did you know who that lady was?
No.
At that time, did you know that that was your biological grandmother?
No, ma'am.
Did you know who her daughter was, who she was referencing?
No, ma'am.
Did you have any idea the person she was referencing was your mother?
No, ma'am.
And even after that incident, did Kathy ever explain to you who this lady was to you?
No, she said she was confused.
Now, going back to the funeral, now, in 2003, Liddy said that it was at the funeral that you now made the connection that this lady who's at the funeral is this lady that you had saw a few years prior.
Yes, ma'am.
At the funeral, did you ever have the occasion to speak with that lady?
No.
You said that they were all sitting on the front row. Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Did you speak to any of the people that were sitting on the front row?
Not that I remember.
And I should ask this, were you all in a church, a funeral home, something else we don't remember?
No, it was at the cemetery.
Now, at the time, what was your understanding of the service that was happening?
We were told it was a celebration of life, not an actual funeral. And that the casket was empty.
And was there a casket there?
There was.
At this point, had you started asking questions about this woman you saw in the pictures?
Yes.
What kind of questions were you asking?
That was essentially when we pieced that the woman from the front yard was our grandmother, and the woman she had been talking to was our mom.
And at this point, do you ask Chris or Kathy about your mom?
Yes.
And what's Chris's response when you start asking about your mom?
That she left. She was on her way to California.
And I should ask, is this before the funeral or after the funeral?
This was right after the funeral. We didn't have questions before, sorry.
So even after the funeral and the memorial, is it my understanding that Chris is still telling you that she's left and on her way to California?
Yes, ma'am.
And that although there's a casket, she's not in the casket, she's on her way to California.
Right.
As a child, what were your thoughts about that?
It was very odd. We had been to funerals before, but they weren't exactly like that. Normally there was like a visitation before, and then you went to the cemetery. So it did seem different than other funerals we had been to. But we had never been told that the casket was empty when we went to other funerals.
Now, did there ever come a point where you started trying to find information on your own about your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do?
I went to Google.
And without telling me anything you read, did you begin to find articles?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you began Googling and finding articles, what, if anything, did you do?
That was when I had more questions, first for Kathy and then eventually for Chris.
And did you ask Kathy your questions?
Yes, ma'am.
What type of questions did you ask Kathy?
I would ask questions like, so they had been married, because I wasn't sure. I was putting in Melissa Patton when I first tried to Google her and couldn't find stuff. So I would ask Kathy, like, were they married? So her last name was Wolfenbarger. How long had they been married? And she just finishes
Back
in.
to hearsay.
Don't tell me if she responded. Were you
Okay.
able to ever get any answers?
No, ma'am.
Did you then ask Chris about your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And what, if anything, would he say to you when you began asking Chris?
Object to hearsay.
Your party opponent information.
Overruled.
The first time I tried to ask him questions, he didn't say anything at all. He sat in total silence for what felt like an hour.
At any point in time, did he answer any of your questions?
Not until I was about middle school age.
Now, what happened around middle school when you would ask Chris questions?
Chris had a new baby. That's when Alias was born. He had gotten with Crystal and had Alias.
Now, did you ever ask Chris about locations where they may have stayed or where she may have been or anything like that?
Yes, regularly.
Such are the type of questions you would ask.
I would ask questions like, where was she staying? Where was she working? Like he would say she would run off. So like, where would she run off to? Never was told a location though.
So when you would ask detailed questions, would he ever be able to provide you detailed answers?
No, ma'am.
And at that time, as you're getting older in middle school, do you still think your mother had just kind of went and ran off to a different place?
Part of me did, yeah.
Now, you said around middle school, did your relationship, prior to this, what was your relationship like with Chris?
We didn't have much of one, to be honest.
Did there ever come a time when you and Chris developed a relationship?
Yes, I would say about 2006.
Can you describe to the jury how did your relationship develop around 2006?
For several years, he had been living down in Savannah and then again in Dublin. So just because of the distance, we wouldn't see him very much. But about 2005, he moved back up towards Henry County and then to Griffin. So we saw him a lot more often.
Now, during this time in 2006, I know you spoke to Chris about your mother. Would you ever still speak to Kathy about your mom now around this 2006 time frame?
Not as much, just because we knew we wouldn't get information from her.
Now, did you ever live with Chris?
My senior year of high school.
Why did you end up living with Chris?
Wound up fighting with Kathy pretty regularly by the time I was in high school. And so at the time I was 17, I was like, I can figure it out from here. And Chris actually met me at a Waffle House and asked me not to do that, to stay with him until I turned 18.
And did you stay with him until you turned?
I did.
Now, what about Joey? Did Joey move with you and Chris, or did Joey stay with Kathy?
Joey stayed with Kathy then, but did end up moving with Chris after I had moved out.
And when you lived with Chris, who all lived with you?
That was Chris and Crystal. Crystal had Brianna and Alias and me.
And about what year is this?
Would have been December 2012 to October 2013.
Is it 2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as a young adult or high school, did you ever get into kind of true crime television?
I did.
How did you get into watching true crime television?
I was very interested. There was a rise of true crime shows at that time too, like Law and Order and Criminal Minds and all of that. I was in a criminal justice class in high school, so we would watch some of the episodes during class, and then I would go home and watch more.
And did you ever talk to your dad about some of the shows that you were watching?
We did.
And what would you talk to him about?
Anytime there was a case that just seemed interesting or, you know, like not a typical case, we would talk about it when we were in the car.
And would he ever have any response about what you were telling him about those types of shows?
Yes. There would be times where we would talk about it, and it would be, there was a time in particular where he said that that wasn't the way that they should have done it.
And when you said that was the way that you should have done, explain to me kind of what you said to him, what you remember, and his response. Give me some more context.
Yes, it was a murder case, and the person had been free for several times. Like, it was a very old murder case that he had been found on. And Chris said that that wasn't the way that he should have hid the body to begin with. You go out there when they're about to build a new house and put it under where the foundation of the house is going to go. And so when the crew comes back to lay the foundation the next morning, they're just going to continue building the house.
So was he trying to explain that how you hide the body?
Yes, ma'am.
And when he said that to you, what was your reaction to that?
It caught me off guard at first.
You said at first?
Yes, we were on our way to the gas station, so it was kind of convenient time for him to say it. I could just kind of sit there until he got done pumping gas. And then the conversation resumed after.
Did you ever ask him any questions once he said, you know, this is how you kind of hide the body, you get buried under?
Yes, it was like, it sounds like you're talking about my mom.
That's what you said to him?
Right.
Did he have a reaction?
Yes.
What was that?
That was when he told me that he didn't know where my mom was. He didn't know if she was in heaven, hell, Stockbridge, but he wished that he did.
And when he said he didn't know if she was in heaven, hell, or Stockbridge, was that now different than her being in California or somewhere else?
Very much so.
Now, did Chris ever talk to you about places to hide?
Places to hide?
Or having places to go to hide?
Not that I know of directly. It would be like through other people.
What do you mean?
Like,
Object to hearsay.
yeah, like through Joey.
Hey,
Okay.
thank you.
So he never told you directly?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall ever talking to some law enforcement about kind of conversations with your dad?
I remember talking to a detective in 2021.
And do you recall if you ever talked to them about some of these things that your father would say?
Yes.
Objection.
Mr. McDermott, what's the basis of the objection?
Withdrawn for the moment, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
And do you remember talking to them about your father telling you about having places to hide or knowing where to go to have places to hide?
In 2021, I can't recall. I'm sorry.
Or in any kind, how many times do you think you spoke in with law enforcement? And I'm talking about the prosecutors, police.
Several times since 2021. Yes.
Do you remember in any of those conversations ever telling police that your father would tell you that he had places to hide, or he would know where to go and hide?
Sorry. No. Sorry.
On a Zoom with Mr. Fawcett, Mr. Wilson, and Detective Shepard?
Yes.
And do you remember maybe a phone call in maybe about 2015 with a Sergeant Lacoste, a telephone call?
I did make a phone. Yes.
And do you remember maybe another telephone call with a investigator Shepard by himself?
Yes, I did.
And I want to make sure I'm accurate. Is it that today you don't remember having any conversations in any of those scenarios about
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
Chris talk to you about having places to hide?
I'm sorry. Can you ask me that one more time? I'm sorry.
No problem. Is it your testimony, I want to make sure I'm clear, that you don't remember in any of those conversations talking to any of those individuals about Chris having a place to hide? Or telling you that
The most that I can remember is him saying he could get away.
Okay. What do you remember about that?
Just that he was able to get away.
Is that the only thing he said, or is there more context to that statement?
I remember like when he got his license in 2013 and he came back home to show us the license, it had his old address on it. And he said during that conversation that when they come looking for me, they'll go to East McIntosh, not Liberty Circle.
And he said when they come looking for me, did he ever talk about the who or the they that they were referring to?
No, ma'am.
Now, knowing the funeral, you said that you saw these individuals and you knew them to be the Pattons. Did there ever come a point where you actually officially met the Pattons?
Not until I was 19.
What happened when you were 19 when you met the Pattons?
I was on Facebook, and on the People You May Know, I saw my mom's picture, and it had her name as if it was her Facebook page. So I clicked on it, and it explained that, you know, we've been fighting for justice. So I messaged the page to be, who is we? You know, like, who is running this page, and who are you? And that's when I was told that it was her family, the Pattons, that have been running the page. And so I introduced myself over Facebook Messenger, and then we set up a time to meet at a Moe's in McDonough.
And when you met at the Moe's in McDonough, is that the first time at 19 that you'd ever really met the Pattons?
Right, right.
Who all was at that meeting?
And that meeting was Norma Patton, Tina Patton, her son, JC, and her daughter, Kimberly.
Whose son and daughter is Stacey?
Tina Patton.
And at that point, did you recognize anyone of those individuals?
Yes.
Who did you recognize?
I recognized Norma from her car in the parking lot. It was the same car.
The same car from when?
From when she stopped out front of Kathy's house, from the funeral, it had been the same car the whole time.
And about what year is this that you're 19?
That would have been 2014.
So she had the same car in 2003.
Yes.
Gotta hold on to the cars. And when you met the Patton family, did they talk to you about your mother and who she was?
Yes.
Since meeting the Patton family, what is your relationship like?
I mean, we met frequently. I moved to Valdosta shortly after that and spent 5 years there. And then I came back up to Conyers in 2020. So that was over COVID. We didn't see each other that much then either.
And now, do you even live in the state of Georgia?
No, ma'am. I'm in Tennessee.
And at this point in your life, how often do you see the Patton family?
Not often.
Is it fair to say that this week you've seen them multiple times?
Right, aside from this week.
Prior to this week, when was the last time you think you saw the Pattons?
It's been at least a year.
Prior to this, when was the last time you spoke to anyone in the Patton family?
Last would have spoke to Norma Patton, and that would have been several months ago.
And out of everyone, Norma, Tina, your cousins, who do you speak with the most?
Norma Patton.
What is your relationship like with your brother, Joey?
I haven't talked to him in several years either.
To your knowledge, who is Joey living with?
Kathy.
Do you have any knowledge of Joey's relationship with the Pattons?
I don't think he has one.
Now, I'm going to first ask about Joey. To your knowledge, what is Joey's relationship like with the Wolfenbargers?
As far as I know, he still talks to him.
And he still lives with Kathy.
Object to leading.
As far as I know.
Sustained.
And does he still live with Kathy?
As far as I know.
When is the last time you spoke to Kathy?
2017, maybe?
Do you have a relationship at all with any other Wolfenbargers?
No, ma'am.
Just time-wise, when is the last time you spoke to Chris?
2013. I think I saw him once in 2017.
And you have a current relationship with Chris?
No, ma'am.
Just indulge us for a moment.
Sure.
No further questions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take a quick break, just that afternoon break, 10 minutes or so. Try and get back in here as close to 3:45 as we can. So the jury's excused for 10 minutes. Thank you.
All right, for the jury.
Ma'am, you may step down until we call you back, okay?
Okay,
Thank you. Mr. Wolfenbarger is present in the courtroom along with his counsel. The state's attorneys are here and the witness is back on the stand. Anything that we need to take up before the jury comes back?
Nothing from the state attorney.
Nothing from the defense.
Okay, we're ready for the jury.
adjourned.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Mr. McDermott, questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Christina,
Yes, sir.
you said you're 30 years old now?
I am.
Oh, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you live in Nashville?
South in Nashville.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you went to college in Valdosta?
I did.
What degree did you get?
I didn't.
Oh.
Got a Mrs. degree.
Uh-oh. An MRS degree, right? I've heard about those.
Yes.
Where do you work currently?
I don't.
Okay. Fair enough. You talked about going to your mother's funeral, and did you say that you saw the Patton family there?
Just home sitting in chairs.
And you didn't know who they were at the time?
No, I mean, I recognized the Norma Patton from the front yard, but I didn't know who was sitting beside her or anything about them.
And did you say that you had asked Kathy who these people were?
Right.
And she responded?
They're bad people. You don't want anything to do with them.
And knowing what you know now, looking back, didn't they have a good reason to say something like that?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained. You can rephrase.
Thank you. You are aware that the Patton family in
I am.
2003 had confessed to, or at least Carl Patton had confessed to killing 5 people,
Yes.
and that Norma had helped with a couple of those.
Yes.
So, and that was public knowledge before the funeral.
I didn't find out until I started Googling, but I
you know
Googled
that.
them too. Yes,
You do know that now?
I do.
Okay. So, do you think that the Christopher's family had a good reason for saying that?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled.
You can answer the question.
Okay, I don't think that they said it for no reason. Yes, I think there was reasons for them saying that.
Okay. You said that when you were living at Kathy's house, somewhere around your age 8 or so,
Right,
you recall these pictures coming down.
right.
Your Honor, I have a self-authenticating document here. Do I need to get you to clear it first?
Yeah, why don't y'all both come up and show me what you're talking about? So, yeah, my understanding is, I think it would be helpful, I understand you've represented that it's self-authenticating, but if you'll just give a general statement of what it is, and then Ms. Hilton can put any objection she has on the record.
So I have a copy of the application for divorce and the court's order granting a divorce to Christopher Wolfenbarger from Melissa Wolfenbarger in the year 2002 in the Superior Court of Liberty County.
Any objection, Ms. Hilton?
No, just what's the defense exhibit number?
What's the number?
I believe it's 7.
Okay, defense 7 is admitted. Go ahead, sir.
You said this is from 2002?
I'm showing you a document now.
Okay.
And you can, I should have highlighted it to make it easier. But can you read the file stamp date on that, please?
Filed, it looks like, I can't tell the county that it says, but it says filed county clerk office the 2nd of January 22.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Good job. So this was January 22nd of 2002, correct?
Yes.
And you would have been about 7 years old
Correct.
when this happened. So the pictures were coming down in in Kathy Wolfenbarger's house roughly around the time Christopher
that same time.
had completed his divorce.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Ms. Hilton, anything else for this witness?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You may sit down.
Thank you.
And the witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McDermott?
Nothing else, Your Honor?
Okay. Yes, you are excused. Thank you. Mr. Wilson, state may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would call Detective A.B. Calhoun.
Stand. If you'll turn and face the deputy before you have a seat, raise your right hand till I swear you in. Okay, sir?
He swear affirm that the testimony will give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Can you state and spell your name for the record?
Thank you, sir. If you'll take just a moment to get situated, especially be care of the rolly chair next to the ledge there. And if you'll scoot up to the microphone, pull it down so we can hear you, and then state and spell your name for the record, sir.
My name is Alton, middle initial B, Calhoun, A-L-T-O-N, again B, C-A-L-H-O-U-N.
And what county do you live in now, sir?
I live in Upson County.
And did you ever work for the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, sir, I did.
When were you hired there?
I was hired by the Atlanta Police Department in April, I believe, in 1986.
And tell the jury what happens when you get hired by the Atlanta Police Department. What procedures do you take?
Once you're hired by the Atlanta Police Department, of course, you go through a whole series of background investigations and things before you're hired. And in my case, after they went through the backgrounds, I was hired as a police officer. I was what we would call a recruit in the city of Atlanta, meaning I had no sworn capabilities, but I worked in the city of Atlanta as a police recruit up until the time I went into the police academy.
And when you go to the police academy, do you receive training in that?
Yes.
And what kind of training do you receive?
No, the training is similar. The best I can put it in perspective, if you've ever been in the military and went to boot camp, a lot of physical training. You learn about particular things that's related to the police department, training with respect to police and laws, criminal laws, and things of that nature.
And I assume you passed the academy?
Yes, sir, I did.
And after you get through the academy, what happens next?
After I graduated from the academy, as with the case with everyone, you'll spend a certain amount of time in what they call field training, where you're riding with seasoned veteran officers, getting to learn the ropes, so to speak, as a police officer. After that field training, then you will probably be assigned to your new job duty as a patrol officer. In Atlanta's case, a particular precinct. I went to Zone 3 precinct.
Zone 3?
Yes.
What general area is that?
Zone 3 precinct is that part of west Atlanta, southeast Atlanta, all the way down through Cleveland Avenue, starts up near I-20 and Murphy Avenue, and in that area. It goes all the way over to the city of Atlanta, DeKalb County limits.
Are you familiar with the term post-certified?
Yes, sir, I am.
Could you please tell the jury what that means?
Post-certified is police officers' standards. It's required of all police officers in the state of Georgia to be post-certified. It's a set of standards that they've established, and they set those standards, and it includes training and yearly certifications.
So you have to do, in order to maintain a post-certification, you have to do Updated training?
Yes, we're required to do updated training with respect to new laws that are coming in, new procedures, and very sorted things, but we're required to do that in order to keep our post-certification.
And what happens if you don't stay post-certified? Can you be a police officer?
No, you can no longer be a police officer if you're not post-certified or be able to perform police duties.
You said you were in the uniform division. Is that typical how people start out?
Yes, you're going to start out in the uniform division.
How long were you in the uniform division?
I was in the uniform division for 8 years.
And then where did you, after you were there, what did you do next? Or
After my 8 years in uniform division, I was assigned directly to the homicide unit. I believe it was 1994.
And that was 1994?
Yes.
And what sort of things, do you get any training when you get into homicide?
No, you get that assignment, and then all the training comes after you get that particular assignment.
What sort of trainings have you taken for being a homicide detective?
Well, I'll tell you, it started the very basic training. When you go to, in my case, as it was, as every investigator in the police department in Atlanta, when you go to homicide, you don't automatically go and start working homicides. You're going to ride along with seasoned homicide investigators and doing a myriad of things from crime scene canvassing and things of that nature. And then eventually at some point when you spend a certain amount of time there, it's things that you're able, you get to have an understanding of what's going on. You'll be put in what we call in Atlanta the rotation to work homicides.
What does that mean?
To be in rotation means that, it's a term that we use, is everyone, it's like imagine a wheel. If you're up in the rotation, that means you're the next person that will get that very next call for a homicide or a death investigation. And once you get that, you'll go down to the bottom of the wheel and you'll just wait your next turn into rotation. And there are investigators between you.
And is that how you, that's the assignment of the lead detective, is that correct?
What is the
wheel when you hit the rotation?
Yes, you are. Yes, and essentially, when you're in the rotation, when that call comes up for homicide, death investigation, or whatever, you will be the lead investigator. Meaning, you have the responsibilities for this particular case.
And could you tell the jury what being a lead is, kind of what entails being a lead?
It entails you're going to manage that case. That case is yours. Now, you're going to manage everything from that case, from, what happens with the evidence. Were you able to discover any witnesses? Who are those? What did you tell? You're directing. I'll give the average things. When you roll up on a homicide as the lead, I don't necessarily focus on one thing. I'm focusing and directing investigators. Someone would say something, well, can you take care of this witness? Can you do this? We got statements. Can you take those guys back to the office for statements? You're directing that particular homicide investigation.
Detective, how long were you in homicide?
20 years till I retired.
Okay. And did you get any experience working specifically with cold cases?
Yes. I spent 5 years as a cold case investigator. I actually was assigned to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. They had a cold case unit, and I worked that with another investigator from the Atlanta Police Departments and other investigators from different agencies within the Fulton County.
Detective Calhoun, could you estimate during your career, how many homicides were you the lead on?
It seems crazy. I know more than 100, well more than 100 or 150. You're talking about a 20-year career. I can remember there were some times where, we had years where an investigator may get 10 or more homicides as the lead. And that's what that's based on. I've never kept a tablet and counted all of the particular homicides that I had as a lead.
It's just a lot.
It's a lot. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you say that you are retired now.
Yes, sir.
When did you retire?
I retired in 2014.
And you retired straight from homicide?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you haven't done police work since then?
No, sir.
All right, so you're not post-certified anymore?
I'm not post-certified as a police officer. I do have some certifications, but not as a police officer.
Okay. Draw your attention to 1999, a human head was found on Avon Avenue. Did you get involved in that case?
I didn't get involved in that case in 1999, no, sir. While I was aware of it, I did not get involved in it in 1999.
Did you know where? Or let me try that again. Do you know who first was assigned the case?
It was Detective Dale Kelly.
And did you do any work on it back then?
I did not do any work on that case at that time, no, sir.
Did you know the details of the case?
I know the details of the case in that there was a head found on Avon Avenue, and I was familiar with the area, but I did not know all the specifics as it related to the case. I know they were, trying to identify who the remains went to.
And do you know when the head was discovered?
I believe it was April of 1999.
Okay. Were there any other body parts discovered in that area?
Yes, and that's what makes it easy to remember about that. The head was discovered in April of 1999, and a few months later, I believe in June, we discovered some more body parts, actually in a short walking distance from where the head was found.
When you say short walking distance, how far do you mean?
As I think in my mind, if I'm standing right there at Avon and Hartford Avenue, and these were all areas inside zones 3, so I may say names just because I know the area. It's just standing right there at that corner, Avon and Hartford, and maybe walk 10 yards to Hartford. I maybe walk another 20 yards down Hartford Avenue, and then just turn right there into the wooded area and go into the wooded area another 10 yards. So no more than 50 yards at the most.
Is there a business located at Avon in Hartford?
Yes, there's several businesses located over there.
Do you know any of the names of any of them?
I know of one particular big business, Action Glass.
Okay, where's that located?
That's located right there at, like I said, right there at Avon and Hartford Avenue. Actually, co-located right where the remains were found, right across the street. Exactly.
But you didn't have originally did not have anything directly to do with this case originally.
That is correct. I didn't have anything to do with it at that point. As talk in the office, you hear people talking about it, you see things on the media, but I did not have any direct involvement with it at that time.
Obviously, you ended up having some direct involvement. When did that happen?
In 2003, I was up in rotation.
So you were the luck of the draw?
Yes, sir.
And what did you find out?
In 2003, we learned that the head that was found in April and the remains the dismembered parts that were found in June were identified through the medical examiner's office.
We have to be careful about hearsay. When he says he learned, that means someone else told him something.
Sustained in terms of the phrasing of the question, but you can rephrase.
Thank you. You were assigned. How did you find out about this case?
Well, again, we got a call from the medical examiner's office telling us that the remains that were found a few months earlier had been identified, and we had to meet with them and discuss this.
Okay. Who all did you meet with?
I believe it was Dr. Terry with the medical examiner's office and several other people. I don't recall who all it was.
After that meeting, what did you begin doing?
After that, now we know who these remains belong to, so this is a homicide investigation, and so we started from there, as we would do with all homicides, just trying to gather information on it. Now that we know who this person is.
And is there like a database or something like that where you can put in information and see if any other department has information about cases?
Yes.
And did you do that in this case?
Well, I did not do that in this case, but again, I didn't have to do this because it was at that meeting that we discovered some other things.
Were there any other departments involved in that meeting besides, police departments?
Yes, sir, there were.
Who was there?
The detectives from the Henry County Police Department.
Do you know which detective was the lead on that?
Detective Stott.
Detective Stott. And did you have a conversation with him about the case?
Yes.
Why was that important to you?
That was important because now we know who this person is. This person has been identified. And in speaking with Detective Stott, I learned that...
Objection.
Y'all come here, please. Mr. Wilson, if you want to, you can rephrase or move on.
Yes.
Yes. Did you know what Detective Stott's involvement was, or did you know who he was?
I know that, again, he was an investigator in the Henry County Police Department, and I know that he was assigned a missing persons case.
Okay. And did you review his file?
No, I just spoke with him about the case file. I did not sit down and go through the file with him.
When you beginning your investigation, what was the first thing you did?
It was important that because we didn't know what was going on. We knew that there was a missing person report. I work with the answers surrounding the missing person case, and then we went from there.
Did you ever talk to, at this point, did you talk to the defendant?
Yes, at some point we did. Well, not at that point, but we eventually did.
All right, let me ask you, and who is the person that you talked to that day?
You mean when we learned, make sure we're clear, when I learned who the missing person was?
Yes.
Oh, after I spoke with Detective Stott, you're asking?
Yes.
I learned from Detective Stott information.
Objection.
Well, who did you talk to? Do you know the name of the person you talked to?
Yes, I talked to Christopher Wolfenbarger.
Thank you. And is Christopher Wolfenbarger in this courtroom?
Yes, sir.
And could you please point him out and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Stipulate he can identify him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And when you talk to Mr. Wolfenbarger, did he give you any relevant information?
Yes, he did.
And what did he tell you?
He just gave us some information as to his relationship with this missing person, the person that we identified in this homicide investigation, and the relationship and some background information with respect to how long he had known her, what was their relationship, when was the last time he saw her.
And Did he give you any explanation why he had not talked to his wife?
No, it was just one of those things of, you know, he thought that she had moved on with her life. He gave us a time frame when he last saw her, but thought that she had just moved on with her life, and that was just the gist of it.
Did anything in this conversation, did you find anything unusual about this conversation? Did he say anything unusual to you?
Well, again, we're in speaking with Mr. Wolfenbarger. The one thing that I found unusual, he's telling us about, you know, Melissa's his wife. When's the last time he saw her? I'm sorry, and he said he saw her about last of March, April, somewhere in that time frame of 1999.
Okay. And why is that unusual?
It was unusual to me because Mr. Wolfenbarger was actually, you know, talking about the time frame when we know the remains were found, so he could not have seen her then.
Did you ask him about any other men that she may have had in her life?
Yes, I did.
And what did you find out?
And again, in keeping with what he's telling us about their relationship and moving on, that he knew that she had been seeing someone else and actually identified this person as someone that he knew to be Mike. They worked together.
When you say they worked together, who do you mean?
He's speaking about Melissa and Mike.
Okay. And where did you find out she worked?
I learned that she worked at the Waffle House in Doraville.
Did you ask him where he thought she might be?
He just back and forth between there. No real definitive answer as to where she was laying her head or anything.
Okay. What did you do next?
You know, with respect to that interview at that time.
Yes.
I mean, I think if I remember serving right, I think when we ended that interview, it was, he did tell me when's the last time. He did mention seeing her walking down in the area where they used to live at on near Brookline and Murphy Avenue in that area. They went to lunch. He described, you know, what she looked like, and she was looking kind of rough, and he just they went to Taco Bell, ate, and he put her out near the MARTA station, and they parted ways, never to see her again.
Did he give you a time frame for that conversation?
No, I don't recall him giving me a time frame.
Did he mention anything unusual about her appearance other than the fact she looked rough?
I think it was just, yes, she just looked rough. You know, I would imagine, and what I took from that, if that's okay, was that maybe she was just out there on the streets, walking up and down the streets with no real place to go and maybe no home.
What did you do next in your investigation after speaking with them?
Okay, now that I know my victim, it's at that point where I'm starting to reach out to family members and talk to them about Melissa. You know, we had to make contact with Miss Norma Patton.
Did you go to the scene?
Yes.
When did you do that?
I believe I went to the scene shortly after I talked to Mr. Wolfenbarger. And I'll back up and say this. I mean, albeit it was several years afterward, you know, that's, you know, you go to the scene and you just start what you do at any homicide investigation, canvassing the area.
And were you able to kind of, was there, let me ask you this. Were you familiar with the way the scene would have looked in 1999?
And I'm not sure if I'm understanding you.
Were you familiar with that area?
Yo, yes, again, that was part of Zone 3, so I was very familiar with it.
And in 2003, had it changed very much?
No, sir.
Okay. When you went out to the scene, what did you do at the scene?
Well, and again, I'm starting at day one as if this was a fresh homicide. You know, I started knocking on doors, talking to people.
Okay. And did you visit the Action Glass Company?
Yes, I did.
And what did you learn from that visit?
Yes, and I'll start again. It says when I went to the scene, which in the scene I'll be more clear is where they actually lived at on Brookline and where the remains were found. They were close proximity, so I did go to both of those. I'll say that as the scene.
Well, now, how far is Brookline from Action Glass and where the head was found?
I'd say by foot, no more than a 10-minute walk, maybe.
Okay. So you spoke with someone at Action Glass?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you talk to?
I talked to Mr. Brock. He was the business owner, Action Glass. You know, in an investigation, I learned that this is where Chris worked at. It was also right across the street from where the remains were found.
And did he give you, or did he tell you anything that was relevant to the case?
He gave us information about Chris's working relationship, and he also gave us information that he.
Objection, if it's going to be hearsay, Your Honor.
No.
Well, Mr. Brock's already testified, so I don't think it's offered for the truth of the matter asserted. It's just offered for his investigative purpose.
Y'all come here for a second. Okay, the objection is sustained. You're going to, Mr. Wilson, if you'll please rephrase your question.
Thank you, Aaron. So you learned relevant information from Mr. Brock, correct?
Yes.
Did you also talk to anyone else there?
I believe there was a lady that was present there as well.
Now, you said you had canvassed over at Brookline.
Yes.
Did you find relevant information over there?
Yes.
Okay. Who did you talk to over there?
I talked to several individuals, just going door to door, knocking and talking to whoever came to the door. I can recall speaking with a young lady that I identified as Dorothy Jones. She was able to give me some information about, I spoke to her about the homicide and wanted to know what, if anything, she knew about the individuals and that this thing happened to.
Now, did you write a report on this?
Yes.
And is there a narrative?
Yes.
Is that how detectives do reports? Okay. May I approach witness, Your Honor? Sure. Thank you. Can you now, is it possible that Miss Jones is Miss Cooley as well?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And you notated that in your report?
Yes, I did.
Who did you talk to next?
After Miss Jones Cooley, I spoke with her brother. It's my understanding he was more Chris's age, so.
Yes, sir.
Objection. It's not a witness.
Could you just tell me the people who you talked to at this scene?
Okay, I'm sorry. I spoke with Mr. Hunter. There was another gentleman.
Go ahead, sir.
There was another gentleman down the street, an older gentleman that I spoke to, Mr. Hoshaw, and I believe another individual, Don Perrone.
Do you recall what date that was?
I don't recall. If I can look at my notes, I can give you the exact date.
Would looking at your narrative help refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall what day you went out in the neighborhood canvas?
That would have been March 14th, 2003.
And that's the same day you went to the scene as well?
That's correct.
Okay. After you finished in that area, what did you do next?
You mean after the neighborhood canvas and going over to
Yes, sir.
going over to the action glass?
Yes.
I think at that point, I started just speaking with the individuals that I know to be involved in the case. I know at one point I went to speak with Miss Norma Patton.
Who's Norma Patton?
Norma Patton is Melissa Wolfenbarger's mother.
And do you recall when you spoke with her? First.
The first time, it would have only been a couple of days after that March 14th incident. I can again look at my notes.
Could you refresh your recollection by using your narrative?
It would have been on March 19th.
Okay. Did you talk to a person by the name of Mike Dixon
Yes.
in this investigation?
Yes.
And do you recall when you spoke with him?
Not the exact date.
Well, can you look at your report and see if that refreshes your recollection? Page
44.
or well, no,
Yeah.
not 44.
Yeah.
11, try 11.
12.
12. Try 12.
Okay, according to as I look at the notes that I wrote on April 15th of 2003, I start talking about Thomas Mike Dixon, where I was able to go out and speak with him.
Now, to continue investigating this case, what did you do next? What steps did you take?
At that point, we know who our victim is. We've identified it. We're now looking for any evidence that's related to that we believe can be useful in this crime. And I think at some point we started looking for evidence evidence from the medical examiner's office to take it to the GBI to be processed.
What kind of evidence did you find?
There was, when the body was initially discovered back in 1999, there was some hair and fiber evidence, I'd say fiber evidence, paint chips and things of that nature that were on the remains.
So did you, knowing what you knew at that point, what did you try to do with this in using that information?
We took that that evidence and took it to the crime lab to see what, if anything, they can do. We did things as hair comparisons. We tried to determine what these paint chips were, where they may have came from.
So where did you look elsewhere?
We also looked at the home. Again, we're talking about the homicide, so we know that they lived at 824 Brookline Avenue. We also processed the crime scene as well. What we believe could be the possible crime scene.
Okay. And that would have been on Avon Avenue.
Avon Avenue would have been the crime scene where the remains were found in 1999, but I'm also talking about the house that Melissa and Chris were last known to live in as well.
So you try to get paint samples from there?
Yes.
Now, had Chris lived in that house recently?
No, sir.
Okay. And when did you go out? Where did you go out there to try to collect the paint samples?
Man, look at my notes again.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you the exact date. Would it be all right if I look at these notes? Because I highlighted things, same thing, but in my notebook, would it be okay?
Are you referring to your own personal file?
Yes.
Is it okay if he looks at his personal file to get the dates?
Of course. Do we have copies of what's in this?
No, this is just something that I made. I won't look at
But
it.
that's
No.
a copy of this, right?
Yes. Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. According to my notes, as I look at it and on the supplement, that would have been in July of 2003 when I processed the crime scene, what I believe the home where Melissa and my husband lived at.
Processing the crime scene, what did that entail?
That is, I mean, a term that we use when we say processing the crime scene, you just start in and you just go through, you take overall pictures of how you found the scene and you just start looking. In this instance, it details, well, what do we know about the case? This body was cut up and dismembered. If it happened, where would it likely happen? And so that's a lot of times will be our focus, even though we'll take pictures and go through the entire crime scene. In this instance, we focused on two main areas, a bathroom that was in the home and in the basement.
And what were you looking for?
We were looking for, again, we knew that there were some debris found on Melissa's remains, so we went through the house to try to determine if we could figure out where that may have came from.
And were you able to figure out whether or not it came from the house?
We were not able to determine that, and yes, we weren't able to determine it.
Are you familiar with a substance called luminol?
Yes.
What does that do?
Luminol is a chemical that's used in processing the crime scenes where it's sprayed on certain things and it'll essentially light up, and that can give us the indication that this may be the presence of some type of matter. Something causes it to light up, so we'll take samples of that where it illuminated. We'll have it tested. Is it blood? Is it, what is this particular thing that caused this to luminesce as it did?
And you did that in 2003?
That is correct.
And was that successful?
No, that wasn't successful. That didn't, we didn't find anything with that. Luminol will react to certain things, and it's been known to react to things such as cleaning agents. It'll get rid right, and so you have to take, again, you take that sample and try to determine what it is. It was nothing that we could use in this investigation.
Did you recover anything that you would need a DNA samples from the defendant?
Did I recover?
Or did the department?
Yes, we were able to recover hair samples. Again, we pulled these, we got the remains, if that's been said, were found in bags, and we recovered these bags, and we went through the bags. You know, we did all sorts of testing on those, and we were able to find some hair samples.
And were they compared?
Yes, we were.
Well, let me ask you this first. In order to compare hair samples, what do you need?
You need a known hair samples from the individuals. In this case, we needed hair samples from Melissa to determine if they were her hair samples. And at this time, our suspect in that case was Christopher Wolfenbarger.
And how do you get those hair samples?
We already had Melissa's because this was found at the medical examiner's office, but I have to obtain a search warrant to get Chris's samples.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And excuse me just for a moment.
Sure.
Did he cooperate with providing samples?
I don't want to smile, but it's a definition of cooperate. I would say no, but I have to tell you why.
Okay.
Again, we needed to get some hair samples. We found hair samples on these remains, so we needed to get these tested. They needed Melissa's, and then we also needed those of our suspects. Well, I went and got a search warrant to get the hair samples from Christopher Wolfenbarger. It was assumed they're not going to give them up, but he didn't cooperate when I went to get them. I mean, he had no choice with respect to the search warrant. He had to give me, it was ordered that he give me these samples. So that's not cooperating.
How many times did you speak to the defendant about this case?
I spoke to Chris at least face-to-face on at least 3 different occasions where we met and discussed this case, or where I was serving a search warrant to get hair samples or DNA from him.
And I didn't ask, when you got the samples, did you turn those in to be analyzed?
Yes. And back up. These samples that we had from the medical examiner's office, we decided to do some more advanced testing. We sent those to the FBI crime lab in Quantico, and one of the stipulations were we needed other samples from Chris, and that's when we went and got his hair samples. But yes, they were all sent to the GBI crime. They were initially sent to GBI, but then we sent further samples to the FBI.
And were you able to make any matches based on those samples?
We were not able to make any matches.
Did you ever talk to the defendant about about Melissa's relationship with Carl Patton, her father?
Yes, I did.
And what did he tell you the relationship was like?
Chris suggested to me that the relationship was, it was good. Melissa was not afraid of her father. She had no reason to be afraid of her father. And if I can just back up a little bit and give my reasons for asking him that.
Sure.
I was familiar with Carl Patton, and one of the things was, well, would she have any reason to do this? Would Carl have done this thing to her? And his comment to me was she had no reason to be afraid of her father. Suggesting to me their relationship was good. Overall, family-wise, it wasn't the greatest, but their relationship was good, and he would have had no reason to do anything to her.
Okay. When you talked to Carl Patton, was he emotional?
Yes.
I just have one more.
Sure.
When did you speak to Carl Patton?
Oh, it would have been shortly after I visited Miss Patton. I spoke to Carl Patton.
And where did you speak to him?
I spoke to him at the Henry County Jail.
He was in custody at the time?
That is correct.
Speak to Diane Patton or Diane Parrott in regards to this case.
Yes.
Do you remember when you talked to her?
It would have been in 2003, maybe. Again, all of these people were spoken to right in about the same time frame, within a couple of days of each other, I believe. I could look at my notes and give you the exact date.
Could you please?
And so according to my notes, it would have been in
Objection,
March.
Your Honor. We've got confrontation, we've got hearsay, we don't have 807. So
Your Honor, I'm just asking you.
That's what I understood that he was asking is who did he speak to, or did he speak to that person?
Yes.
he's looking at his notes just to see, did he speak to her? Okay.
Just the date.
Well, I asked the date, so he's
Right.
looking to find the date.
Specific date, because he gave you a general idea.
Yes.
Overruled.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
When did you retire?
I retired in 2014.
And with this case, did you continue to work on this case until you retired?
Yes, as I said earlier in the beginning that while I had this case and got this case in 2003, I was assigned to the cold case unit of this particular office, but I brought this case over here with me, and I continued to work it until I retired.
Okay. And do you know who inherited the case after you were done?
It's my understanding, Detective Shepard.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Samuel?
Detective Calhoun, my name is Don Samuel. I don't think we've ever met before.
We have, sir.
Yes, we have?
We have.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. I just want to do a quick chronology, okay? 1999, April, the skull is found in the road, correct?
That is correct, sir.
June of 99, there are other parts of the body found, different places, different bags in the woods.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Originally, according to your reports, the belief of either the medical examiner was that it was a male skull, correct?
Yes, that was, from what I understand, well, I know to be a truth, there was initial assumption that this head belonged to a male.
Right, just the expert just got it wrong, right, at the crime lab?
No.
Or the medical examiner's office?
I don't know what they used to determine that, but I know from the time they found the remains till up until in the initial part of the investigation, when it was Dale Kelly's, they determined that it was a male and broadcasted in an attempt to identify this male.
Right, which obviously caused some of the delay, correct? Because for a couple of years, everybody thought it was a man's body that had been found.
Yes, it is possible. It could have caused, that's probably, they're looking for a male, not a female.
And then in 2003, after the arrest of Carl Patton, the inquiry turns to the dental records of Melissa Wolfenbarger, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. So there's been a 4-year delay then between when the skull was found, the body parts were found, and the dental records eventually determined that it was Melissa Wolfenbarger's skull at any rate, correct?
Sir, that's correct.
All right. And from your report that Mrs. Patton, the mother, Norma Patton, didn't report her as being missing to any of the law enforcement agencies, Henry County, Fayette County, Fulton County, until a year after 1999, meaning in 2000.
Well, that's not how I understood it in speaking with her. If I can explain.
If I asked it, I would ask you to explain, of course.
It is my understanding that, yes, she had some initial reservations. She took time, but then at some point she became concerned because it was not normal for Melissa to speak with Melissa on the holidays. And this December, Thanksgiving of 1998, she spoke to her. Yeah. But now holidays are rolling around and something's not right. And she tried.
Let me ask you to remember my question. I don't mind you doing a narrative, but my question was she didn't report to law enforcement until the year 2000.
That is correct. But the way I'm understanding you're saying that she chose not to, or she didn't care.
I didn't say either one of those things in my question. I just said from 1998 until early 2000, she didn't report to law enforcement.
She was unable to report it.
Okay. You answered a lot of these questions to Mr. Wilson, so I'll go fairly quickly here. During your investigation, after 2003, because now we know who the remains belong to,
yes,
correct?
Sir.
You obtained paint chips because you thought that kind of evidence would be important, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You used the luminol throughout the house in order to detect the presence of any blood in the house,
yes,
even though it's a couple of years later at this point, correct?
Yes.
In fact, the luminol did designate one place, and it turned out to be an animal's blood or something like that, a dog's blood, correct?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with what yours.
It wasn't human blood at any rate, correct?
No, the luminol reacted to something, but I don't know that they ever determined that it belonged to an animal. As I said, luminol will react to many things. I don't recall it saying that it reacted to blood at all.
Okay. There was something it reacted to, yes, but it ended up not being helpful to the investigation.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So you got paint chips, you got fibers, right?
Yes.
That looked like they were from a bath mat or something like that, yes, correct? You got hair, which, yes, you said, and we're going to come back to that in a second, that you got from Mr. Wolfenbarger, correct? Yes. And you sent that to the crime lab to compare with hair found in the black bags, correct? Yes. There was no match, correct?
There was no match.
You then even got a search warrant to get pubic hair from Mr. Wolfenbarger because there was pubic hair in one of the black bags, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that didn't match.
That is correct.
Okay. So the paint chips don't match, the luminol doesn't turn up anything, the fibers don't match, the pubic hair doesn't match, the hair coming from Mr. Wolfenbarger's head and the hair in the nothing matches. Correct?
Are you speaking with respect to Mr. Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
Yes. And again, being careful to note what's in the crime lab reports, the hair samples did not, while they were similar to Ms. Wolfenbarger's, they were dissimilar to your client's.
Correct.
So they're probably hers. Yes. The crime lab, and to be clear, because I don't want to make this something, we're saying that nothing matches, but while we were doing the testing that we were doing. The hairs were dissimilar to Chris's, but they were similar to Melissa's Wolfenbarger's, probably her hair. They noted that, well, the pubic hair that they found, we didn't have a sample, so we had to go get a sample from Mr. Wolfenbarger.
Right. That didn't match anything.
Yes, but it noted, again, in the crime lab, it noted that while they were dissimilar, that circumstances change over time. So it's not, I mean, you're saying it's match, but
every one of these tests, you could explain away if you want. You can say there was, too many years had gone by, but none of it ever showed that he was responsible.
Yes, but I think it's important to note just what you said, sir. It's not just simply didn't match.
Okay.
There are circumstances.
Okay.
And
Did you ever get hair from anybody else?
No, sir.
Did you ever get pubic hairs from anybody else?
No, sir. Can I explain why?
No. Did you ever get DNA from anybody else?
I do think he can explain. I think ask him a question.
It was a simple question. Did you or didn't you? I'm
Mr.
sorry, Your
Sam,
Honor. I'm sorry.
Hang on just a moment. If you'd like to inquire with your witness on redirect, you can do that, but he was asked a yes or no question, and I think it's fair for him to say he wants a yes or no answer. Go ahead.
No, sir, I'm sorry, sir. Say that again.
You never collected hair from anybody else? You never collected pubic hair from anybody else? You never collected DNA from anybody else either, did you?
That is correct.
Did you ever take cadaver dogs to the house?
We never took cadaver dogs to the house, and
Did anybody that you were working with take cadaver dogs to the house?
well, see, sir, it's not a yes or no answer the way
Okay.
you're asking the
All right.
questions,
Go
because
ahead.
you know where this is going.
Huh?
You know where this is going.
I have no idea where this is going. I just asked you, did you take
Yeah, I'd like
cadaver?
to be able to explain my answer. I'll give you my answer and explain it. We, meaning the City of Atlanta Police Department, never took cadaver dogs to the crime scene to look for any remains or anything, but cadaver dogs were taken to those locations, but not by the police department or our agency.
Okay, we've already heard testimony that there were cadaver dogs at where the bags were. I asked at the house.
That is what I'm talking about, sir. We never took any.
Okay.
But cadaver dogs were taken to the house.
And they found nothing, correct?
That's not, no, sir, they were not able to search.
Okay.
May I explain it?
Please.
At some point, as this whole investigation goes on, there was other agencies that were working with us, as I should say it, another agency took it upon themselves because they received some information about this particular murder and everything, and they came to the 824 Brookline Street with the intent to do cadaver dogs, to process the crime scene, and may I speak more specifically to the agency? I don't know if that's okay.
I have no idea where you're going, so I don't, what agency?
This was the Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
What county?
Fayette County Sheriff's Office with Major Bruce Jordan. They were the lead investigators in the Carl Patton case. Well, again, they worked in conjunction and speaking with Carl Patton, started doing things on their own volition. Came to the City of Atlanta with cadaver dogs with the intent to find evidence of Melissa's murder there.
You think that was responsive to my question?
Was it, sir? I mean, you wanted to know
you,
if we ever had cadaver dogs at the scene, and I told you, yes, we did. Not the City of Atlanta, but cadaver dogs were taken to the scene.
And found nothing, correct?
They found, no, I didn't say they didn't find anything. They were not allowed to search. You can't just,
Who
you
owns-
just can't go to a crime scene, knock on a door. We have evidence that a crime occurred here and we're going to search your house and do this, that, and the other.
Who was living there then?
What?
Who was living?
There was a residence that was living there. It was no one related to the Wolfenbargers. There was a renter. Major Jordan and his team came there with cadaver dogs to search the house. Asked for permission. I don't know if this is okay, and I'm speaking to reference to the person that was there. They called the Atlanta police. There are people here wanting to search our house. We went out there, in particular, homicide went out there. Well, what are you trying to do? Well, we got information that this, and this has occurred. We're going to search the house. No, sir, we can't do that. We don't know this. We don't have any warrants. We don't know this. So, yes, cadaver dogs were at the scene, did not search the scene.
Okay.
Because they were not allowed to. They didn't have search warrants or anything.
Okay. So this was an argument to some extent between Atlanta and Fayette County law
No, this was not an argument.
Had nothing to do with Mr. Wolfenbarger.
No, it was not it's not an argument between Atlanta Police Department. There was an agency that came to Atlanta with the intent to do something, and this is a homicide investigation. You can't do it like this. It had nothing to do with an argument. You cannot do this.
Okay. Now, you interviewed a woman who identified herself to you as Dorothy Jones, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
and her name was also Dorothy Cooley, is that right? Did you write in your notes that she told you her name was Dorothy Jones?
I don't know if, 20-some years, I'm not sure if I just thinking Jones type Cooley, or I'm not sure. I don't have my notes. Could have been Cooley Jones. I'm not familiar, sir.
Do you want to see your report?
I have it right here.
It says Dorothy Jones.
Yes,
correct?
but then in the narrative, it also says Dorothy Cooley.
Okay.
So, again, what I'm expressing to you is, I don't know, could have been Cooley Jones? I don't know, but I corrected it in the narrative.
Okay. When you interviewed Mr. Wolfenbarger, you were in Gwinnett County at the time, he said that the last time he saw her was walking down Brookline Street, correct?
No, not Brookline. Not at the house location, but near the MARTA station.
Right.
The MARTA station runs right there on Murphy Avenue.
Okay. And this was sometime he told you in March or April of 1999, correct? That's what he told you.
No, yes, when I interviewed him in Gwinnett County, he said, it's based on what I'm understanding his memory, it would have been about March or April of 1999. That is
right,
correct.
which was at the time you interviewed him about 4 years earlier, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he said that he picked her up, they talked for a while, they went to Taco Bell to eat?
Yes, sir.
And then he brought her to the MARTA station, correct? And she got on her train and left. That's what he told you happened. Okay. And so that's either sometime in March or sometime in April. The skull is found the last day of April, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I want to ask you a little bit about your interview of Mr. Dixon. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember talking to him about whether Ms. Wolfenbarger was pregnant?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you remember him, this is Mr. Dixon, who was here
Yes, sir.
before you, saying he could have been the father?
Yes.
That's what he told you, right?
Yes, he said it was possible that he could have been the father, yes.
Right. And that he had talked to her about that.
I don't know if...
He had talked to Melissa about that.
Well, I'm assuming there was some type of conversation if they're talking pregnancies and who's the father, that
Right.
there was a discussion about it.
Right. And in your report, what you wrote was, when questioned by me as to if he knew if she was pregnant, Mr. Dixon too indicates that it was possible and that it could be that he was the father.
That is correct.
Okay. And he also told you that she stayed with him several occasions at the Shallowford Lodge, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did he tell you that they also were having their intimate relations on the rooftop of the Waffle House? Do you remember him telling you that? And
I don't remember him
Your Honor,
telling me that. I don't.
I object to that. That is argumentative, and I
not argumentative. I asked him a question, and it's
not relevant.
well, it's inconsistent with the testimony.
And it's hearsay.
What is, hang on. Are you referring to a report in asking that question,
It's
Mr.
a
Samuel?
taped interview that the witness did with Mr. Dixon.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Did he tell you about that? That they were going up on the roof of the Waffle House? They had wine up there.
I don't recall him getting into the specifics of the relationship, sir. I mean, it's possible I don't remember.
You did take the conversation, though, correct?
That's correct.
I'll find it, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. I think you did. I'm just looking at I just went back a page to see what, because on the previous pages where they started talking about their relationships. Well, yeah, when he was talking about their relationship, yes, sir. 500. Okay. Okay, yes.
Am I correct?
Well, is it okay to read the answer?
To yourself.
Oh, okay.
That
To myself,
document's
yes.
not in evidence, though,
Okay,
so.
thank you. So during the 3-day period, yes and no. The first time was when we worked down at 500. I came back down here. All right, and then the question again.
My question was, Mr. Dixon, a whole day went by.
It's going to happen sooner or later.
Was having intimate relations.
He was having an intimate relationship with her.
With her,
Yes.
including on the roof of the Waffle House.
Well, it says that they drank outside and then they went on the roof. I didn't delve into it any further, so.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you. is your understanding was the reason for the initial delay in investigation from the discovery to when you got started?
It was just that they were having problems identifying who these remains belong to.
And do you know whether, well, the Christopher Wolfenbarger, there was a renter in the house, at that house at 824 Brookline?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know whether or not there was any remodeling done to that house?
Yes, as you know, as we went into the house and you're looking around, and it's very obvious to anyone that things have been changed. These are older houses, and you had no. I mean, you knew that by looking at them, they had been recently updated, new appliances and fixtures and things of that nature. In particular, the bathroom.
Okay. Do you have any understanding of what Norma tried to do after the reporting of Melissa being gone?
What she tried to do after didn't see her daughter anymore. She tried to make, and the answer to my question is yes.
Hang on one second. I think he said the answer was yes.
Yes.
To, do you know, I got a little distracted when I heard Mr. Samuel's objection. So far, I haven't heard any hearsay. His answer was yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Did you have an understanding of a why? Actually, nothing further.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Samuel?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You can step
Thank
in.
you, ma'am.
You are excused.
Thank you, guys.
And ladies and gentlemen, while the witness is gathering his things, I'll let you know we're going to go ahead and adjourn for the day. I'm going to have you back here at 9:30, and I promise you that we're going to get started as quickly as humanly possible at 9:30. I will just remind you again, since you're obviously hearing evidence, that it would not be proper for you to discuss this case with anyone, and including amongst yourselves until it's time for you to deliberate. I'll also tell you that it would not be proper for you to do any independent research, to look anything up, to drive by anywhere, to Google anything. And then finally, I'll just remind you that to the extent there could be media about this case, please don't watch the local news. Please just sort of try to stay away from media so that you don't accidentally run into something about this case. Because again, your obligation as a juror is to decide this case based on the evidence you hear in the courtroom and not anything else, okay? Thank you all very much for your patience and attention. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30.
All right, jurors.
Thank you all. You may be seated. Any matters that y'all need to take up with me before we adjourn?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense.
Okay, Mr. Samuel, jury charges?
They will be in your hands in the morning. I just don't, I didn't print them out yet.
Okay. So we will plan to resume tomorrow morning at 9:30. As I said, we're going to do everything in our power to comply with what I just told the jury, to start as close to 9:30 as we can.
Your Honor, are we able to get in early tomorrow? There's a recording that we may want to test with a Bluetooth because it's an older recording, and so we want to try to test the sound with it.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Get in maybe 8:45, 9 to test it, or 9, I think.
Yeah,
half an hour.
8:45 might be pushing it, but I'm sure I can get you in here by 9.
Okay, and with the Zoom up so that we can
Yes.
use it all. Thank you so much, Ron.
Yes. Okay, we are adjourned until tomorrow morning at 9:30.